Chapter 1141, 1141 Poor Sword Spirit, 3. 1141 Poor Sword Spirit, 3. Under its starry coat, the powerful force shattered layers of energy shields and corroded deeper. It looked down and immediately discovered that the so-called bang 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 vibration came from the demon duck's body. It was the sound of its heart. The strong heartbeat was like thunder. The roar of a god resounded through the entire spatial venue, making everyone's hearts involuntarily beat faster with it. Under the dark sky, the sea-cleansing demon duck walked on the magma ground step by step. Accompanied by the dark sky's fluctuations, Quas mist steam immediately rose and swept into water. Buzz! The sound of laws that suppressed everything also came with the beating of the sea-cleansing demon duck's heart. A terrifying demon god aura filled the sky, making the star god Vulture in the sky reveal a frightened expression. It also made Monkoloff, who was opposite him, reveal an incomprehensible expression. It was the sound of laws again, another quasi-divine skill. What a joke! Was it common? The presidents of the many associations and beast tamers present got up in disbelief. Abyss God! It's the same as that Xianming. It has mastered the power of the abyss. The angel god looked at the duck and couldn't help but say with a look of disbelief. But it's only at the overlord level. It will definitely lose its mind. He was only at the overlord level, but he dared to use the abyssal divine power. He had a death wish. Wouldn't its resistance be corroded by the power of the abyss? Although there was a precedent for little G, no one dared to imagine that in just half a year, Shiyu's second team pet had crossed the restrictions of its race at the overlord level and reached the divine level. This was already Shiyu's #1 mythical race pet. Moreover, this was a mythical race that had inherited the power of the abyss, the invader of Blue Planet. Damn it! Monkoloff cursed. He finally had the intention to retreat. He felt that Shiyu's pet was even more ridiculous. It actually activated a quasi-divine skill the moment it came up. Moreover, from the signs of this quasi-divine skill, it was a state-type quasi-divine skill? He hesitated for a moment, and it was this hesitation that instantly buried the star god Vulture. Quack! Profundity, one thought of Buddha demon. Swoosh! A Vajra demon subduing staff turned into a holy weapon. Under the wash of the golden power, in an instant, traces of golden holy light were mixed in the black demon god flame of the sea-cleansing duck. Boom! The impact of the limits of the two powers. Sonic boom sounded, and the sound was devoured by the sound of the heart. What's this? Someone exclaimed. Under the wash of this power, the duck, whose gaze was violent just now and whose rationality was gradually losing, recovered some consciousness. It stunned some people who originally didn't think highly of the overlord level and tried to master the power of the divine level abyss. The power of the heart Buddha. Minghua's reincarnator, President Ashaya, couldn't help but stand up. An abyssal creature had mastered the holy power of Minghua? Wait a minute, was that demon duck's predecessor the duckbill beast? Could it be? She couldn't believe it. Could it be that this reincarnation cultivated both Buddhism and demonic attributes during the evolution process? What kind of monster was this? Everyone was stunned. The accelerated burning of the blood made Ducky's figure instantly disappear from the spot. Boom! A huge pit appeared on the shattered magma ground. A black ocean lake instantly formed, replacing the magma pool. It disappeared. The breathing of the audience tightened at the same time, and their gazes quickly moved. Where was that demon duck? In the sky. Someone discovered Ducky's traces. In midair, the star god Vulture's mind had long been focused to the extreme, its eyes filled with seriousness. Jew! Under the violent and sharp cry, its figure had already turned into a divine light beam that broke through the limit in the sky. In an instant, its flying trajectory formed a 5-point star. Super skill, Star Seal. Boom! The huge Star Seal was like a palm as it slapped down at the arena, enveloping and suppressing everything. But in the next moment, the star god Vulture and Monkoloff were shocked. They suddenly realized that with a bang, a huge hole appeared in the star seal that enveloped a large area. Moreover, the edge of the hole was filled with black frost. They didn't realize how the skill was penetrated at all. When they reacted, the figure of the abyss demon duck had already appeared behind the star god vulture. The pressure was very strong, making them unable to believe it. What explosive power! It instantly disappeared, penetrated the super skill that was close to transcendent proficiency, and ascended to the sky again. It came to the sky behind the enemy, still invisible. They couldn't defeat it, they were completely not its match. Star god vulture, come back, Monkolov shouted. He finally gave up in his heart, but the speed of his voice transmission was slower than Ducky's rapid attack. Quack! Quack, crouching vulture pestle! Even if its rationality was corroded, ducks could still be naughty. At the same time as the attack, it shouted. Space and time seemed to have frozen. The star god vulture was completely unable to withstand a single blow from the duck under the beating heart of the abyss. It was almost like flowing water. The duck holding the demon-suppressing pestle directly instilled the power of the abyss into the demon-suppressing pestle. Cracks immediately appeared on the holy weapon that shone with the light of the Buddha demon, becoming the carrier of the duck's attack. However, even this carrier was not enough to withstand all the abyssal divine power. Chapter 1142, 1142 Poor Sword Spirit, 4. 1142 Poor Sword Spirit, 4. But for the time being, it was enough. Ducky directly smashed the demon-subduing pestle onto the star god vulture from top to bottom. Boom! In an instant, the star god vulture fell to the ground like a stream of light and was smashed into the black lake just now. Its attack caused thousands of waves and splashed black water droplets that filled the sky. It was like a reverse dark sky wave rain, making President Monkolov's expression immediately turn pale. Phut! President Monkolov, who was opposite him, vomited blood again. With a boom, he looked at the star god vulture that floated up and lost consciousness, as well as the sea-cleansing demon duck that had already landed and recovered its restoration state. His heart almost exploded. This attack also stunned all the spectators again. Crushing? Stronger, ridiculously strong, right? It doesn't look like they're in the same dimension at all. The main force of that star god Monkolov, who has been famous for decades, actually couldn't even withstand a round and was insta-killed. What exactly is going on with this Shiyu? It was all right the first time, but after 2 consecutive rounds, the legend expert who had been famous for a long time were beaten up by Shiyu. In an instant, the audience of the various countries was stunned. Ah, this. The black cell phone was stunned. It was also shocked by the strength of Shiyu's sea-cleansing demon duck. It only felt that it wasn't weaker than the mechanical illusion god machine that had previously activated a catastrophe. It was completely crushed. I was wrong. It actually mastered such a perfect cleansing power and restricted the power of the abyss. At this moment, the expression of the angel god changed again, making the light pope beside him speechless. This Shiyu was really not human. Even the second team's pets were like this? No, he didn't believe that this abyss demon duck was still the so-called second team Shiyu had mentioned previously. At least, in the quasi-divine skill state, it already had the battle power of a top-notch totem. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Donghuang, ancient capital, and Yushu were immediately stunned when they saw that this duck was so strong. F***ck, no wonder Shiyu would rather break the contract of General Mu Huain's heroic spirit and contract this duck. It was really strong. However, when they recalled that General Mu Huain's experience was already so miserable, and she still had to break the contract because Shiyu liked the new and hated the old. In Donghuang, the beast tamers who had seen the preview of Mu Huain's legend instantly felt uncomfortable. Scumbag! I lost. The future belongs to you young people. At this point, President Monkolov, who was holding his chest, looked at Shiyu opposite him. He already knew that he had been completely surpassed by this young man. Even if he sent other main forces, they would definitely not be his match in a one-on-one situation. This guy's pets were all a group of monsters. Initially, everyone was afraid that the 6 pets in Shiyu's World Tournament would be stronger now. However, no one expected Shiyu to directly take out 2 new pets to crush everyone. This guy used only half a year to pull up 2 new pets with totem battle power. It's over. Monkolov has already become this kid's stepping stone. His growth speed is faster than I imagined, President Shen Feng said with an ugly expression. You will all be stepping stones. Only President Lin Xiao's heart was as clear as a mirror. Others were only stunned by the strength of Little G and Ducky in front of them, but these 2 pets were clearly still only the second team in Shiyu's previous evaluation. He didn't have the ability to challenge the first team at all. This meant that Shiyu's full strength was beyond imagination. Thank you for the fight, Shiyu said to Monkolov. Yes. Monkolov put away the Star God Vulture and turned to leave. At this moment, all the beast tamers watching the live broadcast in the world went crazy. Damn, this young world legend in his early 20s actually really defeated President Monkolov, who was strong enough to enter the top 15 of the beast taming domain. And it was a crushing posture. What a joke! Who could tell them how far this Shiyu's full strength had reached? Could it be that it was already close to the legendary level? He took down the legend title at level 6. At the legend level, it's not impossible for his battle power to be close to the legendary level, right? Some spectators who had seen the world competition tried to convince themselves. At the same time, on the other side of the mountain, on the other side of the sea, on an isolated island far away from the Alliance Island, a dark aura enveloped the entire island, and the tip of the iceberg was revealed on the huge creature's body. Your Majesty, they have already infiltrated the Alliance Island. A black giant ape prostrated on the ground and welcomed the supreme strongest demigod in front of it, the king of totems and the king of the Yun race. I finally caught an opportunity. Its huge eyes crossed the sea and also stared in the direction of Alliance Island. The 7 countries held the Alliance meeting, and Dong Huang represented Shiyu. This information was naturally received by the Yun clan. Ever since the last time Shiyu from the Heavenly Sword Nation snatched divine-level resources from Yunnan, Yunnan had been holding a grudge until now. In order to take revenge, he had already prepared for a long time. Unfortunately, he couldn't find any traces of Shiyu. However, this time, Shiyu confirmed that he had appeared on Alliance Island. Its sacrificial soldiers and assassins had already locked onto Shiyu. He was definitely going to kill Shiyu in one go. This time, it planned to use the suicide self-destruction attack of its totem-level subordinates to kill Shiyu's existence. Even if Shiyu still had the previous Guardian equipment, it definitely couldn't offset its carefully planned assassination. In addition, wasn't it wanted by the 7-Nation Alliance? It also had to give the Human Alliance a big gift. In any case, after killing Shiyu and venting the hatred in its heart, it didn't plan to stay on Blue Planet anymore. Run after fighting. The Blue Planet god gradually woke up, making Yunnan realize that this was not a low-level planet at all. It planned to go to a nearby planet to wait for the mythical stage to completely revive and break through to the divine level before leaving this galaxy. It could be said that Yunnan originally didn't care about Shiyu's growth speed if he didn't contract the Blue Sea Sprite and the Iron-Eating Beast, but Shiyu disguised himself as Emperor Wu and snatched its resources. This was something Yunnan couldn't tolerate. It was so angry. Blue Planet it could choose not to dominate, but Shiyu had to die. This was the last thing it prepared to do before leaving. If it didn't do it, there would be a knot in its heart. It was afraid that becoming a god wouldn't be stable. Oh. Chapter 1143 Assassination from Yunnan. 1143 Assassination from Yunnan. After the battle ended, with President Monkolov stepping down, Shiyu naturally followed. There was silence. Only Shen Feng's new legendary, Wexi, looked at the messy venue and fell into deep thought with the Mystic Realm remote control in his hand. President Monkolov was all right. But was this Shiyu deliberately targeting him? He clearly knew that there was still a battle later, and as a judge, he still had to repair the venue part-time, but in the end, he didn't pity the venue at all. The quasi-divine skill of the mechanical phantom beast directly changed most of the terrain of the mystic realm venue, shattering the ground and summoning countless magma from the ground. Under the enhancement of the quasi-divine skill, the Abyss demigod reincarnation summoned harsh rain. Its battle aura also collided with the magma terrain, causing the mystic realm arena to almost shatter under the aftermath of the two. Legendary Lightning Yi could already predict that this would be the situation in the next 6 battles Shiyu participated in. His expression couldn't help but darken. Sigh. But at this moment, the black cell phone had yet to realize the seriousness of the problem. It was still reminiscing about the battle just now. It said, "How exciting! Dear audience before the live broadcast, are you very surprised by the outcome of the battle just now? I'm very surprised that President Monkolov lost the competition, but this isn't because President Monkolov is weak, but because Legend Shiyu's 2 pets are very special. I have to introduce them to everyone." The audience in front of the live broadcast stared at the black cell phone. "What the F***ck were you doing earlier? During the battle, you should have explained at the same time. That tyrant dragon and dragon-shaped monster is indeed a mechanical phantom beast. It's a new life form revived with the fossil as the prototype. However, Legend Shiyu, Dr. Shiyu's mechanical phantom beast doesn't use ordinary fossils, but a mechanical illusion god that revives with the fossil of the mythical creature, the Earth Divine Dragon, as a template. The skill used just now is also the signature divine skill of the Earth Divine Dragon. A terrifying divine skill that's enough to destroy a continent. President Monkolov didn't lose in vain. He mastered the prototype of a divine skill. That mechanical illusion god can already be called a mythical race. In the history of the Alliance, even legendary beast tamers have never cultivated a mythical race pet. Dr. Shiyu is the first. I think it doesn't seem to be a problem to call him the legendary mechanic. Mythical race? Holy shit, countless beast tamers watching the live broadcast widened their eyes. Divine skill? Mythical race? They, who only knew the Overlord race and super skills, had no concept of the word mythical at all. From the looks of it, it was really strong. It was a divine skill that was enough to destroy a continent. It was not strange for it to instantly kill the main force of the strongest echelons titled Legend. No wonder President Monkolov looked like he had eaten **T. As for that black demon duck, it said that it's the reincarnation of the most unholy faction, the demigod of the Abyss Sea. At the peak of its previous life, its individual existence was not inferior to a legendary beast tamer. In this life, it was unearthed by Legend Shiyu and carefully cultivated. The skill used just now is also a quasi-divine skill. Just like the mechanical illusion god just now, it's also a mythical race. President Monkolov, your loss was not unjust. President Monkolov, who had already left the stage, looked at the black cell phone. Listen to me, thank you, Hash. Although he was bragging about Shiyu, there was no need to emphasize that he had lost every time, right? President Monkolov was so angry that his beard flew up. Wait. Another mythical race. Didn't they say that in the history of the Alliance, even legendary beast tamers have never cultivated a mythical race pet? After introducing Ducky, the beast tamers watching the live broadcast were stunned again. However, it was also a fact that the second duck insta-killed the star god Vulture even more sharply. They had all seen it. This is nothing. During the World Tournament, Shiyu had already cultivated a mythical race. Otherwise, why do you think he could end the competition in the preliminaries and even kill totems above his level? I was at the scene at that time. Someone exposed. Everyone, who? As the black cell phone introduced him, more and more information about Shiyu was exposed, allowing more normal beast tamers to instantly know a lot of ridiculous information. No wonder this guy could be chosen by the Blue Planet's will to become the savior of Blue Planet. He's indeed powerful. Upon hearing this, the spider girl who was beaten up by Shiyu in Donghuang was completely convinced. It was not easy to nurture so many mythical races. Even in the mythical era, there wouldn't be many creatures of mythical races, let alone in this cultivationless era. Next, soon, the black cell phone finished speaking and began to shake the two parties fighting in the second round. Shenfeng vs. Ming Hua. The representative of Shenfeng, the mechanical god of war, President Logan, was like a title. He was expert in the mechanic class, and his strongest mechanical weapon, the battle god fist, had the battle record of heavily injuring top-notch totems. And as a mechanic, he could also create forbidden arms. In terms of battle results, he was a beast tamer even fiercer than President Markelov. If he really let loose and fought, even demigods would probably be unwilling to fight President Logan, who was in charge of the Shenfeng nation. However, the alliance meeting definitely restricted forbidden weapons. And his opponent was Ming Hua's reincarnator, Ashaya. This was a beautiful beast tamer with bright black skin. In a sense, apart from Shiyu, she was the youngest representative of the beast tamer in this alliance meeting. Chapter 1144 Assassination from Yunnan, 2. 1144 Assassination from Yunnan, 2. She was in her early 40s and looked to be less than 30 years old, like a young beautiful woman. However, if it was from her previous life, she might be the oldest. In her previous life, she accidentally ate a special resource that could allow her to reincarnate. Therefore, although she was a human, she did the same miracle as those gods and totems. After dying, she successfully reincarnated into a new baby in the future. With the memories of an ancient legend, she began to rise again. This was also the key to her ascending to the second seat of Ming Hua in her early 40s. It could be said that every president of the associations of the 7 countries had a chance to break through to the legendary level. None of them were easy. I wonder if these two contracted a reincarnation god. After Shiyu left the arena, he casually sat in an empty place and didn't go to President Lin Xiao. It was mainly because he was certain that when President Lin saw him, he would definitely talk a lot again. He clearly looked like a very profound person at the start, but recently, he was becoming more and more like Principal Feng. Sigh. Old Lin, be more careful. He was already more than 100 years old. If he didn't take advantage of the revival of the laws to break through to the legendary stage, there wouldn't be anything to play with. Ooh? At this moment, President Logan and President Ashaya had already gone on stage. Shiyu's expression suddenly changed. His right eye instantly twitched. A huge sense of danger made him suddenly look around. Like Shiyu, Ling, who had suddenly sensed danger, turned into a small cube and floated beside Shiyu, recording the Battle of the Alliance conference. It also instantly sensed a huge crisis. Shiyu suddenly focused all his attention, but a moment later, nothing happened. On the arena, the battle was very intense. The various presidents, even legendary Wex Yi, were watching the battle intently, as if they didn't notice anything. Everything looked very calm, but to Shiyu and Ling, it was so strange. He clearly sensed danger, but he couldn't sense anything and couldn't find the source. What was going on? Ling, you sensed it too, right? Although it was only for an instant. Yes, Master, Ling said solemnly. Not to mention the totem level. In battle, when facing a skill that was fatal to the enemy, one would feel a life-and-death threat from it, and their bodies would react differently. In daily life, when facing a crisis that might attack in the next moment, it would also sense the crisis a second or even a fraction of a second in advance. But no matter which it was, it could only be sensed when danger was about to come. Shiyu had long studied this ability in detail when the 7 islands challenged the path to champion. The situation just now was very strange. They clearly sensed danger, but in the next moment, no danger descended. Strange. Moreover, if a crisis really descended, the Dragon God Protection should be able to be activated. The Dragon God Protection didn't react at all. Only they sensed it, so was there any danger? Moreover, for them to sense danger, it had to be at least a demigod-level attack. But why would an attack of this level appear on Alliance Island? Not only did legendary Wexy not discover it, but the defense facilities of Alliance Island also didn't discover it. Because this place wasn't big, the defense facilities were all maxed out, but it was even harder to invade than the borders of the 7 countries. Master, according to my analysis, our perception might have been affected by my wind blessing, and caused me to make many predictions in advance, Ling said after analyzing for a moment. However, the impact shouldn't be too far from the real situation. The source of the threat should be on Alliance Island, and the other party has already locked onto you. Are we escaping? The wind blessing involved time, space, and wind stats. It was a divine skill of laws. Shiyu and Ling themselves were protected by the wind blessing all year round. Ling thought for a moment and realized that this was the only situation. Although the crisis they sensed didn't descend, there was indeed a potential crisis threatening them. Escape, Shiyu was stunned. Escape my ass. He could already beat Emperor Wu. When he encountered danger, he couldn't just think about escaping. You guys can't discover anything? At this moment, Shiyu was already urging Ling and Buggy. However, in exchange, he only shook his head. Woo woo woo. The other party's spatial attainments might be higher than mine. Buggy said. Shiyu gritted his teeth. Good heavens, who exactly was it that wanted to harm him on the Alliance Island? Or could it be that the target wasn't him, but the entire Alliance Island, but it would affect him? Shiyu couldn't judge. However, from the other party's movements, he indeed had some skills. What method did he use? Not only is it higher than you, but it might even be one of the best among the demigods. It might even be a demigod who specializes in space. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so easy to enter the Alliance Island, Shiyu said. In fact, judging from the characteristics of danger perception, Shiyu felt that the other party was targeting him. But he really couldn't think of anyone who hated him so much. Tyrant Dragon King? Yunnan? Black Dragon Juggernaut? None of them looked like it. It was mainly because their spatial attainments weren't that strong. Could it be a revived spatial god? But he didn't provoke anyone. F*CK, don't let him know who it was. No matter what, be prepared to deal with it with all your might first, Shiyu ordered everyone. Chapter 1145 Assassination from Yunnan, 3 1145 Assassination from Yunnan, 3 As for whether he would really encounter danger, Shiyu was not very worried. Shiyu, the other party should have used a meld skill that involves time-space or borrowed resources that contain the power of time-space. It's not just spatial power, that's why he hid so well. Although my strength hasn't completely recovered, I might be able to give it a try and find the other party's location, Chi suddenly said. Moreover, although the spatial power in your body isn't enough to support one spatial travel, you should be able to dodge 2 fatal attacks with everyone. Shiyu knew that Chi would definitely do it. After all, this was the little guy who could run the most in the mythical era. Even the 3 alien factions that invaded Blue Planet couldn't do anything to her, let alone such an enemy. Compared to slipping away from the Blue Sea ruins now and giving up the Alliance meet, Shiyu also wanted to find the other party more and see who had ill intentions towards him. If he didn't figure out the other party's identity, he would feel uncomfortable for a long time. Yes, I'll leave it to you, Shiyu said. Try to find the other party. If they dared to invade the Alliance Island, even if it was a demigod, they would make it impossible for the other party to return. Although there weren't many legendaries here, there were more than 10 titled legends and a bunch of forbidden machines. It was more than enough to farm a demigod. At the same time, Shiyu looked at President Lin Xiao in the distance and sent a voice transmission. President Lin. What's wrong? President Lin also sensed Shiyu's direction. Although he didn't have a telepathy talent, at his level, he could completely use the power of his pet to communicate telepathically with Shiyu. By the way, you did well just now. I feel that you can defeat these guys with those 2 second team pets. Ha. All the best. All right. President Lin, I have something to tell you. Well, I seem to have been targeted by a mysterious demigod. The other party is on Alliance Island and successfully invaded this place. He's hiding somewhere and I don't know when he'll attack me. Of course, there's also a certain chance that the other party's goal is the entire Alliance Island. I'm searching for its traces. In addition, I plan to continue letting Little G compete with Ducky to avoid alerting the enemy. We have to catch the other party this time. To be able to enter the Alliance Island without anyone noticing, leaving it alive is a disaster. Why don't we take advantage of the crowd now and attack together to figure out the other party's origin and goal? Prepare in secret. It's best if you can immediately contact the legendaries of the 7 countries. You can't let anything happen to the Alliance Island, nor can you let anything happen to me. President Lin? In a special void, 1, 2, and 3, a total of 3 spatial totem-level Yun clan sacrificial soldiers were hiding in the sky above the Alliance Island with the heavenly space concealment divine stone bestowed by Yunnan. They were specially cultivated by Yunnan in order to kill Shi Yu. They mastered the explosive and self-destruction skills of sacrificing lives, as well as the 3-in-1 group connection skill, and referenced the forbidden arms of humans. If they attacked together, even a demigod would be in great danger. In order to get rid of Shi Yu, this big problem in his heart, Yunnan could be said to have invested a lot. In short, together with the heavenly space concealment divine stone, Yunnan's 3 subordinates were enough to be called the strongest assassin team. Unfortunately, its own strength was too strong, and the concealment divine stone couldn't completely hide it. Otherwise, it would have to kill Shi Yu personally. But forget it. After all, it was the Alliance Island. It was more dangerous. It was better to leave it to his subordinates. Yunnan followed his heart and directly chose to control it remotely. At this moment, Yunnan stared at the outside world through the eyes of the 3 sacrificial soldiers and said with a mental resonance, "Don't be anxious, don't be anxious. Before the power of the concealment divine stone is exhausted, no one can discover you. What you have to do is find the best opportunity. It's best if he uses his beast-taming talent to fight others and launch a fatal attack when he consumes the most energy. Only then can we ensure that nothing goes wrong." Chapter 1146, Chapter 1146, Don't think about leaving since you're here, 1. Chapter 1146, Don't think about leaving since you're here, 1. Knowing that a crisis was coming, Shi Yu's thoughts were instantly not on the Alliance meeting. Next, Qi secretly searched for the enemy's location. Shi Yu was also paying attention to the changes in his surroundings. Shen Feng versus Ming Hua. The representatives of both parties decided the winner without summoning the reincarnation god. Therefore, in Shi Yu's eyes, it was a standard battle. After the battle with Emperor Wu, his horizons had indeed increased. Although these people were titled legends of the strongest tier, pets were only at the overlord level in the end. Moreover, it wasn't a mythical race at the overlord level. It was in a completely different dimension from 11, Kai Tong, and the others. Boom! On the Mystic Realm arena, under the witness of countless spectators, Reincarnator Ashiya's Netherworld worm was suppressed by President Logan's Killer Bee mecha. It was blasted 1,000 meters away by the laser cannon, and its worm body shattered. Cough! Ashiya took a step back and her expression turned ugly. Sorry. President Logan's calm voice came from inside the mecha. As expected of the mechanical god of war, Ashiya said through gritted teeth. After the battle between the 2 parties ended, Shen Feng's side was overjoyed, while Ming Hua's side sighed continuously. Reincarnator? Reincarnator, President Ashiya of Ming Hua is indeed special. I wonder if an ancient legendary will revive like her in the future, Legendary Lightning Yi said in his heart as the black cell phone made a racket outside the venue. He was not surprised that President Logan could defeat the other party. In his opinion, only the representatives of Dong Huang, Rongguang, and Tingxiang could pose a threat to President Logan. Dong Huang had a monster like Shi Yu, while Rongguang and Tingxiang were relatively lucky. According to his information, these 2 countries had obtained the friendship and help of the reincarnation god. Thank you, President Logan and President Ashiya, for the peak battle you brought us. Sigh, I feel that I haven't seen enough at all, but next, there's going to be a new battle, the black cell phone said. Everyone started to look at the black cell phone again, waiting for it to draw the 3rd round of battle. At the moment, Dong Huang versus Shui Yuan, Shen Feng versus Ming Hua, Tingxiang, Rongguang, and the 7 islands had never fought. Although the rule this time was that every country would encounter the other 6 countries, which countries would collide first was still the focus of the audience. Could it be us? On Rongguang's side, an old man in a white suit spoke. He was the president of the Rongguang Beast Tamer Association. Beside him, an old man in a papal suit and an extremely handsome angel god watched everything calmly. No matter who we encounter, Lord Angel will lead us to victory. The Light Pope had already become the divine envoy of the angel god and become a loyal lackey, henchman, and lapdog. The old man in the white suit sighed in his heart. Sigh, with the revival of the mythical stage, Rongguang would probably reverse history again and become a religious faction that was greater than everything. Mother, leave it to us. On Tingxiang's side, the white-haired President Orlan stared at the arena intently. Beside her, a green curly-haired female giant more than 4 meters tall who looked relatively young spoke. Beast Tamer with a giant hybrid, titled Legend Roland of Tingxiang. Because she was a hybrid of a giant and had a longer lifespan, she looked relatively young, but her real age was not young. Apart from that, she had another identity, the daughter of the president of the Tingxiang Association. President Orland was relatively old among the presidents of the 7 countries. Her condition was no longer at its peak. To everyone, it was not strange for her to be represented by her daughter, whose strength had exceeded her master. Please, it's not easy for our Rongguang to obtain the right to speak this time. We definitely can't disappoint Her Majesty. President Orland looked at her daughter and even at a certain god in her contract space. The frost giant god that awakened its memories in Tingxiang, the embodiment of ice, happened to be one of her daughter's contracted giants. The tether established by both parties made the memories of the giant god awaken. It was also willing to help Tingxiang and cooperate with Tingxiang to welcome the mythical era together. Leave it to me. The frost giant god's voice was cold. That Logan, that Ashaya, and that Monkolov's pet wouldn't be its match. Even if it was the mechanical dragon that inherited the power of the Earth Divine Dragon and the duck that inherited the Xianming inheritance, it wasn't afraid. Although these two had also mastered quasi-divine skills, their foundation was too poor. He just didn't know how the foundation of Shiyu's other pets had improved. If the foundation wasn't good, he couldn't unleash all his strength even if he had high-quality divine skills. The so-called foundation was the proficiency of low-level, intermediate-level, high-level, and super skills. These things could lead to the increase of all attributes. I'm afraid it's time to be reprimanded by Lord Marshal God again. The president of the 7 Islands was a very strong, white-haired, white-bearded old man with a wide chest and yellow-brown skin covered in explosive muscles. He was wearing a sleeveless black shirt and black formal pants. He still looked old and strong, but at this moment, his expression was not good. Be it Tingxiang or Rongguang, he was not confident. Rongguang, one of the upper 4 countries, was already strong. Moreover, there was also information that the other party had obtained the help of the angel god, and the originally weakest country, Tingxiang, was actually equally lucky. This made the 7 Islands, who had yet to find the support of a suitable mythical race at the overlord level, very awkward. At this moment, everyone was waiting for the results of the black cell phone draw. Finally, the results are out. Let me see. The black cell phone projected onto the huge phantom in the air and directly randomized 2 names. Chapter 1147, Chapter 1147 Don't think about leaving since you're here, 2. Chapter 1147 Don't think about leaving since you're here, 2. Ah! Holy shit! Who? What's going on? As these 2 names appeared, Dong Huang's audience was stunned. It was Rongguang versus Dong Huang. F***CK, is there a conspiracy? In Dong Huang, the prediction owl watching the live broadcast at Imperial Capital University cursed. It clearly predicted the 7 Islands versus Tingxiang. How could it be Rongguang versus Dong Huang? There was a conspiracy. It was deliberately targeting its great Dong Huang. This draw result could be said to have stunned most people. President Logan, President Ashaya, legendary Wexyi, President Lin, who was just about to move, Shiyu, who was secretly investigating, and the big boss of Rongguang were slightly stunned. Especially Shiyu. Well, the name list of every battle is random. It will only ensure that one side isn't allowed to fight continuously, but after one interval, it's not within the restrictions. The black cell phone explained, therefore, next, it's still Legend Shiyu of Dong Huang who fights. And his opponent is His Holiness the Pope of the Church of Light in the Rongguang Nation, the Son of Light, Ralph. Hair. On Rongguang's side, Ralph smiled. Beside him, the extremely handsome angel god, who was even slightly more handsome than Shiyu, also looked down in surprise. It was actually going to fight that Shiyu so quickly? Forget it. In any case, the other party's two pets just now shouldn't be the strongest main force. The other party didn't use its beast-taming talent to consume its physical strength. It wasn't bullying this time. Shiyu. President Lin, who was just about to leave to do things according to Shiyu's instructions, looked at Shiyu. The opponent was not simple. If they wanted to fight, they would probably have to consume a lot of physical strength. At that time, his condition would decrease. If there was really a crisis, he might be unable to resist. Ha 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 ha, it's coming, it's coming. The angel beside that yellow-haired old man isn't simple. It can definitely make this Shiyu fall into a bitter battle. The time to attack is coming soon. In the alternate space, Yunnan, who had his consciousness possess him, was also overjoyed when he saw this. He didn't expect the opportunity to come so quickly. It suppressed its hatred and couldn't wait anymore. However, in order to be foolproof, it still had to wait for Shiyu to consume the greatest amount of energy before attacking. At this moment, everyone was very surprised, especially those beast tamers who knew that the lineup of Rongguang this time was not simple. When they saw Rongguang meet Dong Huang so quickly, they couldn't help but lick their lips in anticipation. Between a real reincarnated god and a god cultivated and created after birth, who was stronger? It's all right. And now, the lucky person, Shiyu, shook his head helplessly and sent a voice transmission to President Lin. It's already checkmate. Crisis will no longer be a crisis. He felt that he was really lucky. Just now, he and Ling sensed an instant of threat again. Again. This made Ling quickly deduce and analyze that the other party might want to attack at the moment when Shiyu's battle consumption was the greatest. Regarding the analysis of a top-notch think tank like Ling, Shiyu quite acknowledged it. In his shoes, if he wanted to assassinate a target, he would definitely have to choose the time when the target was at its weakest and feeble. However, what made Shiyu feel lucky was not because Ling had analyzed this. Qi was really very powerful. Shiyu originally thought that it might be a while before Qi could find the enemy. However, not long after the battle between President Logan and President Ashaya ended, just as the black cell phone announced the new name list, Qi directly locked onto the other party. He understood the other party's location and the other party's essence. In Shiyu's beast-taming space, the pink lowly Qi carried little purple and sat on the star. Through the beast-taming space, her cherry-like eye seemed to reflect the scene in another space. Shiyu, it's actually the Yun race. You're wrong. The correct answer was eliminated just now. But it's not Yunnan's main body. It should be its subordinate. It must have brought some super powerful tool. Otherwise, it couldn't have hidden so well. In the face of Qi's discovery, Shiyu was extremely silent. Yunnan. This guy had come from the past to give his head away, and now from this time and space, he was here to give his head away. He was really something. He didn't expect Yunnan's hatred for him to be so deep. As soon as he received the news that he was coming to Alliance Island, he immediately came to assassinate him. This was the highest holy land of humans. Moreover, from the looks of it, the other party's preparations were very thorough. He actually hid it from everyone. If not for the fact that the two helpers, the Time Sprite and the Luck Kirin, were around, Shiyu felt that he would really have fallen for it. A top-notch totem and two normal totems are both under Yunnan. They're not strong, but since they can let us sense a life-and-death threat, that means that they have a killer move that can instantly heavily injure demigods and make demigods on the verge of death. Shiyu thought for a moment. It was probably self-destruction. The modern Yun race was researching forbidden arms. Shiyu knew this. If he wanted to maximize the energy efficiency, self-destruction was the best choice. Yunnan probably knew that even if the assassination was successful, its subordinates couldn't return, so the possibility of self-destruction increased again. Shi Yu chuckled. He was really not afraid of self-destruction. In the past, in order to restrict Yunnan's self-destruction, Buggy and Ling had practiced together for a long time. They could even temporarily suppress Yunnan's self-destruction, let alone totems below the 3 demigods. Since they were here, they couldn't leave. Shi Yu thought that it was a demigod, but in the end, there were only a few of them. There was no need for President Lin to call a legendary to save an opponent of this level. Chapter 1148, 1148 Don't think about leaving since you're here, 3. 1148 Don't think about leaving since you're here, 3. He could easily solve it himself. Compared to being attacked passively, he still liked to take the initiative to attack. Under everyone's gaze, Shi Yu floated in the sky with his blue psychic power again, and flew to the arena. At the same time, the Son of Light, Ralph, who was wearing a golden and white papal suit, also descended on the Mystic Realm arena in the holy light with blink light. In the holy light in front of him, the angel god also descended. At this moment, under the holy light, this angel god spread 2 pairs of incomparably dazzling wings of light, looking pitilessly handsome. Holy shit, angel, is that an angel? Rongguang really has an angel. It's very normal for the Light Pope to contract an angel, all right. I heard that the battle power of angels even exceeds pure-blooded dragons. I wonder if it's true. At this moment, as Shi Yu and Ralph appeared, especially when the contracted partner beside Ralph followed beside them, it instantly stunned many ordinary beast tamers who were watching the live broadcast. He actually appeared directly? Many presidents present originally thought that the angel god wouldn't attack easily and would let Ralph's other pets go first. Who knew that this god would take the initiative to go on stage? My name is Frostus. After the angel god saw Shi Yu, he introduced himself and said, "Your potential is indeed not bad among humans. No wonder the World Tree chose you. As a god who has existed since the mythical era, I also want to personally verify your potential like ancient god Golden Bull and the others. I look forward to fighting you. Yes, Legend Shi Yu, Lord Frostus, and I will fight you with all our might," the Son of Light, Ralph, said. Ah. At this moment, the black cell phone looked at the angel god, Frostus, in shock and said, Are you a reincarnated god?" Frostus didn't say anything, but the Son of Light, Ralph, nodded and said, "Lord Frostus is a divine-level warrior of the angel race in the mythical era. After experiencing the calamity of the mythical era and constantly reincarnating, I was lucky to be chosen by Lord Frostus. Both of us have concluded a divine contract, so we can fight at the same time." The black cell phone was shocked. An angel god? In Rongguang, countless basic believers of the Divine Church of Light were shocked. Their Pope actually contracted an angel god from the mythical era. Although they trusted the Pope very much, the power Shi Yu had displayed just now was too terrifying. They couldn't help but be a little worried. But now, when they learned that their Pope had actually contracted a god with the god believed in by the Church and could fight side by side, they instantly felt stunned. Was this the so-called mythical revival? Perhaps he could win. All right. In the face of the invitation of the Rongguang Pope and the angel god, Shi Yu agreed immediately. However, at this moment, he said right on the heels of that, "However, can you give me a minute?" Shi Yu looked at the sky. What? Shi Yu's words completely confused Ralph and the angel god. It also surprised the presidents of the various associations and legendary Wex Yi, who was sitting high up. What did it mean? Give him a minute? What was Shi Yu doing? The audience in front of the live broadcast was also stunned. Could it be that Shi Yu had yet to rest and was still a minute away? It was just like the cooldown time of the game's skill. But clearly, they were overthinking. Although Shi Yu, who was looking at the sky, said to give him a minute to fight, he still summoned his pet. Boom! A black summoning array surrounded by orange flames appeared beside Shi Yu. Shi Yu stretched out his hand and directly reached for the summoning array. Then, he slowly pulled it out in the air. A shocking heatwave spewed out, and a red divine sword was slowly pulled out of the beast-taming space and appeared in Shi Yu's hand. This scene stunned most people. Wait a minute? Wasn't this that sword spirit? Dong Huang immediately exploded. Holy shit, who said Shi Yu cancelled the contract with the sword spirit? Who is it? Step forward. I promise I won't kill you. What's with the random tempo? It clearly wasn't cancelled. No, the one who was sacrificed to contract the new mechanical illusion god and the abyss demigod reincarnation isn't that sword spirit? Could it be another mechanical illusion god? Impossible, so annoying. I can't guess. It could be said that just now, everyone was still certain that Shi Yu had most likely replaced the sword spirit, but at this moment, they were stunned. It didn't make sense. This sword spirit was the reincarnation of a hybrid bloodline of a titled legend. Although it was very strong, it couldn't even be considered a demigod reincarnation. How could it not be the one replaced? What do you want to do? The people watching the live broadcast couldn't sense anything, but Ralph, who was very close to Shi Yu, and even the angel god sensed the terrifying power contained in the sword spirit. Outside the arena, countless gazes focused on Shi Yu. In the alternate space, the Yun clan assassin, who saw Shi Yu looking at the sky slightly, suddenly felt his heart skip a beat. Even Yunan had a bad feeling. In the next moment, Shi Yu's voice sounded. At the same time, he entered a possession state. The fiery red flames lingering on its body dyed its black hair and eyes red. When it turned into red hair and red eyes, its voice also fell, cold and emotionless. It's nothing. It's just that an extraterrestrial totem has invaded the Alliance Island and is plotting something. In order to avoid them disturbing the competition, it's better to deal with them first. As Shi Yu finished speaking, everyone was in an uproar. The black cell phone paused and instantly looked at the empty sky. In front of the live broadcast, countless spectators were instantly at a loss. Chapter 1149 Don't think about leaving since you're here, 4. 1149 Don't think about leaving since you're here, 4. What? Before they could react, Yunan was already shocked. Impossible! In the alternate space, after being stunned, Yunan roared in confusion. He was discovered? How was that possible? In the next moment, Shi Yu, who was holding an immortal sword, waved his sword at the sky. Then, right on the heels of that, an incomparably dazzling sword light of red, blue, white, and black seemed to have broken through the darkness like a divine judgment. With a crack, it shattered the void. A shocking sword intent enveloped the entire Alliance Island. At this moment, Kai Tong's myriad sword convergence was with Shi Yu. In the undead space, the imprisoned totem undead endured a huge burden and cried out. At the same time, Shi Yu's aura directly approached the limit of a real demigod. His instant battle power might have already exceeded a weak demigod like the Heavenly Sword Ancient Nation. This was the peak state that a sword spirit that had evolved with 2 divine-level resources could reach after possessing 3 divine-level resources to strengthen itself. Among the monsters like the Chaos Panda, the Green Dragon, the World Ginseng, the Blue Sea Sprite, and the Luck Divine Beast, they could also easily take down the most terrifying battle power state of the team's first place with an absolute advantage. Under the extremely shocked surroundings, and even the angel god, Shi Yu, and the others directly successfully shattered the alternate space hidden by the meteorite assassin under Chi's guidance. At this moment, the sky tore apart, and the world seemed to have been divided into 2. In the eyes of the audience, space shattered almost instantly. Then, right on the heels of that, in the sky, the extraterrestrial totem Shi Yu mentioned appeared in front of everyone. In the shattered sky, it was pitch black. 3 poisonous beasts with extremely terrifying forms that emitted an unholy aura and oppressive radiation were completely revealed in the sky above Alliance Island. The black cell phone looked at the sky in shock. It had no idea when these guys had invaded. At this moment, through the live broadcast screen, people everywhere could see their terrifying faces. A huge centipede more than 1,000 meters long with at least 1,000 feet and a black golden body that looked like it had been watered by ink was wriggling in the black clouds, its terrifying red eyes looking at the ground. A scarlet-black scorpion-shaped creature was like the sky demon god. Black mist lingered around a huge tail spike and huge scorpion pincer, like a terrifying arms that could destroy a city. It swayed in front of its body. Between them, a huge calamity spider that seemed to be the embodiment of disaster and plague with eyes as deep as a pure black hole was already in an attack posture. In its mind, the will of the king of the Yun race, Yunnan, was crazily transmitted. Destruction. Destruction. Destruction of everything. Yunnan, who was extremely far away, was so frightened by Shiyu that its heart was about to jump out. It really didn't understand how Shiyu discovered them. After all, before this, it had even taken other demigods and even let its subordinates enter the Alliance Island to practice in advance. In the end, indeed, no one discovered any traces of the Yun clan assassin who had relied on the power of the concealment divine stone. Even demigods couldn't, but in this situation, how exactly did Shiyu discover it? At this moment, Yunnan no longer cared about anything. He directly let the three assassins launch a suicide self-destruction attack. He no longer cared about the effect and immediately activated it. You hid it very well. Don't hide it again next time. As Shiyu held the immortal sword tightly, the bodies of the three incomparably huge poisonous creatures had already swelled to an even greater extent in a short period of time. A shocking black light and black mist bloomed from their bodies, causing their energy to increase steadily. Almost in an instant, every one of their auras reached the peak. An ominous wave bloomed from their bodies, as if it came from the endless malice in the hearts of intelligent life. The incomparable aura made the presidents of the various associations get up with a whoosh, and also made legendary Wexy instantly feel as if he was facing a great enemy, revealing a shocked expression. Invaders! It was really as Shiyu had said. There was a totem invader. Moreover, from the current situation, they were plotting against the Alliance Island. Self-destruction. They were preparing to self-destruct. The energy fluctuations erupting from each of them were no longer inferior to the attack of a demigod. Three terrifying energies intertwined. Even demigods would be heavily injured. If they didn't defend, their lives would be in danger. If it was just three totems, coming here was courting death. However, if three totems courting death came here, it could indeed disgust everyone. No one was willing to take the self-destruction of a totem-level eruption head-on. Not good. In the current state of the three sacrificial totems, even touching them would detonate them. Be it the angel god, the presidents of the various associations, or legendary Wexy, everyone felt threatened by this ominous aura. In an instant, they used various methods to protect themselves, escape, or defend. Everything happened in an extremely short period of 0.1 seconds. Just as everyone was trying their best to dodge this terrorist attack, only Shiyu, who had prepared in advance, directly welcomed it. The other party was targeting him, so he naturally couldn't let anything happen to the Alliance Island. Buzz! With the sword spirit in hand, when shocking sword intent shot out of Shiyu's eyes, he used the item of faith to cover the four holy domains of the entire Alliance Island. A huge barrier had long been instantly intertwined. Boom! In an instant, under the perception of countless experts with widened eyes, for some reason, the self-destruction power of the three totems that burned their lives and activated their greatest strength to self-destruct was instantly suppressed. Chapter 1150 Don't think about leaving since you're here. 5. 1150 Don't think about leaving since you're here. 5. What? What did Shiyu do? Everyone suddenly looked at Shiyu, who was in the center of the domain. He held the sword spirit and said extremely calmly, "Did I let you die? Go!" The sword in Shiyu's hand shot out like a thunderclap. The sword light swayed and kept expanding. In the blink of an eye, it turned into four sword projections that hung in the sky. The four swords, Immortal Slaying, Immortal Extermination, and Immortal Trap, appeared around the three Yun clan assassins. The Immortal Slaying sword formation immediately formed. Buzz! At this moment, it was as if the world had trembled, and an incomparably deep sound of laws appeared. The spatial power and natural power in the domain were all suppressed again. The air buzzed and vibrated, and the void was pierced. The sound of laws was like the cry of a sword, like a peerless divine sword about to be unsheathed and slaughter the world. Quasi-divine skill. Countless experts were shocked. That sword spirit had also evolved into a mythical race? It was King ridiculous, even stronger than its predecessor. Woo! Before anyone could react, in the next moment, extremely terrifying mixed sword intent broke out of the four immortal swords and penetrated space. Like dazzling light needles, they intertwined on the three huge totems, making indescribable wails come from their bodies. Yunnan, you're courting death. Shiyu's words seemed to be talking to someone. Boom! Space distorted and shattered. The entire sky seemed to have turned into a world of swords. Countless sword shadows leaped, forming tens of thousands of divine swords that hung in the sky, causing the sword fluctuations here to shake the sky and earth. Even reincarnation gods like the angel god and the giant god felt the power of the sword intent, and their pupils constricted at the same time, their hearts trembling. Through Shiyu's mental resonance, the sword that sacrificed the two totem-level scapegoats already had the initial qualifications to hurt demigods. It was almost a crushing power for anyone below the demigod level. This power stunned the angel god and giant god, who were still confident of fighting Shiyu just now. He felt that the strengthening strength of the level 8 beast tamer he contracted was not even half as terrifying as these two guys' fusion. Was this really a post-deity race and a level 7 human? In an instant, they thought this was bullshit. Under the illumination of the sword light, the bodies of the three Yun clan totems were instantly sliced into black blood mist that filled the sky under everyone's stunned expressions. Then, even the blood mist was obliterated by the sword intent and was directly slashed into incomplete corpses, leaving behind souls that were still wailing. They were swallowed into the endless sword world, extremely miserable. Shiyu, you're courting death. In the endless distance, cracks suddenly appeared on Yunnan's body. He widened his eyes and erupted in anger again. Why? Woo 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 woo. This damn human. I have to get rid of Yunnan as soon as possible. At the same time, Shiyu felt a crisis. He felt that Yunnan probably wouldn't let the matter rest. And now, after Shiyu's battle, not only did he not consume the scapegoat, but he also obtained another one. He couldn't help but be a little happy. In less than a minute, Shiyu successfully defeated the three invasion totems. He raised his hand, and the sword light in the sky flashed. The sword spirit returned to Shiyu's hand. On Alliance Island, countless people had yet to react. They seemed to have recovered their calm, but in everyone's hearts, including the new legendary Wexy, their hearts instantly rolled right on the heels of the heels. He looked at Shiyu in the arena. What did he do? Everyone admitted that they were shocked just now, but not only did Shiyu calmly use some unknown method to restrict the other party's self-destruction, but he also instantly insta-killed three totems. The destructive power of that skill. Everyone's pupils constricted. When they recalled it, their spirit felt like it was being pricked by needles. Shiyu said, the invader, one of the three invading races of the mythical era, the totem half-god of the abyss race, Yunnan. Those were just totem death warriors under it. Apart from personal grudges, it looks like the other party doesn't want to see Blue Planet's faction successfully form an alliance. But now, there shouldn't be any threat. Damn, Yunnan hid far enough. Shiyu couldn't help but complain about Yunnan's guts in his heart. However, with the three undead just now, he should be able to continue locking onto Yunnan. Do you still want to continue the battle? The red-haired and red-eyed Shiyu looked at the Rongguang Pope and the angel god opposite him. At this moment, the angel god's eyes were still reflecting the sword light just now. Its pupils continued to constrict. What a joke! The current it didn't understand why Shiyu, who was in the state of the sword spirit possession, had strength almost comparable to a demigod. Didn't this guy feel any burden from the terrifying attack just now? At that moment, everyone saw what was going on clearly. Three totem-level beasts from outer space attacked Alliance Island. Shiyu insta-killed three totems that had erupted to the extreme with a sword move. It wasn't just the presidents of the various associations who had incomprehensible thoughts. There was also the new Legendary Wexy, and even President Lin, who was stunned on the spot. At this moment, the corners of President Lin's mouth twitched incomparably. When Shi Yu told him that he was in danger just now, he was indeed shocked, but now, he was also shocked. What was wrong with this sword spirit's skill? Why was it so powerful? Boom! At this moment, opposite Shi Yu, the angel god Frostus couldn't help but erupt with powerful energy. Why is there an abyssal faction invading? Those 3 totems just now were sent by a guy named Yunnan, right? It looked at the Rongguang Pope. Now is not the time to hold any alliance meeting. Hurry up and mobilize everyone to find that Yunnan. It must not be far away. It wasn't afraid, but there were priorities. Yes. The Rongguang Pope had only just recovered from the shock of the suicide self-destruction attack of the 3 totems. It could be said that every life present instantly sensed the same danger as Shi Yu. They were extremely afraid now. Especially Legendary Wexy. After the lingering fear, he was even more furious. That Yunnan actually dared to invade while he was presiding over the Alliance Island. What nonsense alliance meeting was this? How could it continue smoothly at this time? This was Yunnan's provocation to him. After advancing to the legendary level, he had never defeated a demigod. He wanted this Yunnan. Legendary Wexy aimed at the black cell phone and said, "Inform the 7 countries." "I'm very sorry." An unexpected situation occurred at the alliance meeting. From now on, the alliance meeting is temporarily suspended. At the same time, I'm issuing a wanted order to the world to hunt the Yun race. There's no restriction on life and death. Many people were still trapped in the attack just now. After constantly grunting, they suddenly realized that Shi Yu had done many terrifying things. Especially on Dong Huang's side, Ji Mengzhu, who was watching the live broadcast, was already stunned. Was the Yun race totem that easy to kill? What's wrong with this kid? No matter how slow the experts of the various countries present were, they could sense that Shi Yu had resolved a shocking crisis just now. Not only did he resolve it, but he was the first to discover it. That move just now directly made Logan, Ashaya, President Monkolov, and the others realize how terrifying Shi Yu was. Was this guy a monster? How could his growth speed be so ridiculous? It had only been half a year, but he already had strength comparable to a demigod. Even Legendary Wexy was filled with fear towards Shi Yu in this state. As a legendary and the blesser of the world tree, he should have been the most orthodox savior of Blue Planet, but what was going on with this Shi Yu? In short, what was the point of fighting? It could be said that the beast tamers representing the few countries didn't want to fight Shi Yu in that state at all. Alliance meeting, stop, stop. The most important thing was to completely eliminate the threat. First, do you want to hunt Yunnan? At this moment, Shi Yu saw that the angel god had decisively stopped fighting. Seeing that Legendary Wexy immediately wanted Yunnan out of fear and even stopped the alliance meeting, he couldn't help but leave his possession form. When I was detaining the souls of the 3 death warriors just now, I learned that that guy is in another hemisphere. It might not be easy to catch him now. Then, he looked at the silent President Lin in the distance. It meant that the alliance meeting was stopped by all parties together. It wasn't caused by him. He already wanted to compete seriously, but from the looks of it, the various countries didn't want to fight anymore. They all wanted to hunt Yunnan? We can't let them succeed. We have to hurry. You? The corners of President Lin's mouth twitched as he looked at the innocent-looking Shi Yu. The other countries instantly didn't want to fight the alliance meeting. Didn't he know why? Chapter 1151, 1151 Abyss Attack. 1151 Abyss Attack. Alliance Island was in chaos. Although Shi Yu had already killed the 3 Yun clan totems that carried out the terrorist attack and knew that there were no longer any Yun clan totems around, from the perspective of others, he couldn't relax at all. Apart from Shi Yu, no one had discovered the attack just now. No one could guarantee that there wouldn't be a second and third attack next. A huge hole had already appeared in the Alliance Island security system. Legendary Wexy, who was currently presiding over the Alliance Island, immediately stopped the Alliance meeting and let all the forces on the island strengthen their security to search for Yunan's traces. This was the best choice to deal with the risks. The audience of the various countries looked at the suddenly dark scene and looked at each other. As their hearts beat crazily, they realized that they might have seen a very impressive scene. The Alliance meeting, which was originally fine, had to be interrupted because of the attack. The information brought directly made the beast tamers of the various countries have an intense discussion. Did you hear that? These three guys don't want to see the successful establishment of the Blue Star Alliance and come to cause trouble. Although the presidents of the various countries have just finished introducing the reason for the destruction of the mythical era and the goal of the Blue Planet Alliance to resist the possible alien invasion civilization, I didn't expect that they would be attacked by the remaining factions of the other party in the blink of an eye. The people in this world were quite accepting of extraterrestrial life forms. A long time ago, Blue Planet had already proven the existence of extraterrestrial life forms. The threat of extraterrestrial life had always been a very popular setting in major movies. However, this time, it was completely confirmed by the officials of the 7 countries. Of course, in this official announcement, the 7-Nation Alliance didn't introduce the horror of the 3 invading factions. They only said that they were the defeated parties who invaded Blue Planet and had long been defeated by the Blue Planet Divine Spirit. However, there was still a possibility of reviving and making a comeback. The establishment of the Blue Planet Alliance was to resist this invasion a second time. In the second mythical era, one couldn't rely on the returning gods for everything. They had to rely on themselves. Therefore, not only did such a statement not make the citizens of the various countries panic, but it also stimulated the morale of the various countries. The mythical era had descended, and the path to godhood had been opened. The gods of the mythical era could protect Blue Planet, so the current human beast tamers could also protect their homes. This was the point of view that the 7-Nation Alliance had mainly publicized to the various countries. Have you noticed? When the 3 monsters invaded just now, the faces of the Holy Emperor and the Angel God turned green. They had panicked expressions, but who knew that Legend Shiyu would insta-kill the 3 monsters in the next second? The Angel God's expression was stunned. Who said that Legend Shiyu might not necessarily be able to defeat the Angel God just now? Why do I feel that the Angel God of Rongguang was changing the topic just now? It's afraid and doesn't want to fight. I finally understand what Legend Shiyu meant by "give me a minute." Holy shit, the invaders must have been stunned. They've already successfully invaded the Alliance Island, but they were still pulled out. How strong is Legend Shiyu? Looking at the appearance of the others, they didn't discover anything at all, including Legendary Wexy. Are those 3 really totem-level creatures? Why do I feel that it's as easy as breathing for Legend Shiyu to kill them? In the records, only Legendary-level creatures can crush totem-level creatures like this. What's the name of that sword formation just now? I don't understand. Is that the sword spirit you mentioned just now that was eliminated and replaced by Shiyu? The various countries were in an uproar. Shiyu's name directly spread to the various countries again with this short live broadcast. Most people didn't watch the World Tournament, but this alliance meeting was a battle that everyone really saw. Shiyu, the strongest in the younger generation, not only easily defeated the president of the Snowfield Association, but he also easily insta-killed the 3 totems that made the reincarnation god's face turn green, directly letting Shiyu ascend to the altar. Apart from that, the beast tamers of the various countries also felt that a storm was coming. It was rare for totems to attack the Alliance Island. Usually, such a big event was the fuse of the totem war in history. Recently, the intersection between the 7 countries and the totem country had indeed been too frequent. Be it the World Tournament or this attack, it made the members of the various countries smell the aura of war. At that moment, without the Alliance meeting to watch, everyone could only pay attention to the final statement issued by Legendary Wexy on behalf of the 7-Nation Alliance. The 7-Nation Alliance wanted to crusade against the hunting totem half-god Yunan. The last recorded record of the 7-Nation Alliance vs the totem half-god was before the Alliance was established. The mechanical legendaries used divine forbidden type forbidden arms to kill the totem half-gods. This time, after more than 100 years, the human alliance finally declared war on a totem demigod again. Moreover, it was a demigod creature of an invading faction. What would the outcome be? The 7 countries had just introduced the invading faction when Yunan ran out to show off his existence. It could be said that if they didn't deal with this Yunan who destroyed the establishment of the Blue Star Alliance, it would be very difficult for the Blue Star Alliance to continue smoothly. The other totem countries would doubt the ability of the 7-nation alliance. On Alliance Island, the experts of many countries gathered and surrounded Shi Yu. Although ordinary people didn't know, these experts knew that Yunan was also wanted by Shi Yu. After the incident in the Heavenly Sword Nation, Yunan issued a must-kill order to Shi Yu in anger. At that time, the various countries were still very surprised, so they judged that it was very likely that Yunan was here for Shi Yu. Chapter 1152 Abyss Attack, 2. 1152 Abyss Attack, 2. No, or rather, it could both kill Shi Yu and destroy the establishment of the Blue Planet Alliance. This attack killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Legend Shi Yu, how did you discover them? Legendary Wexy quickly descended beside Shi Yu. Around Shi Yu, including the Light Pope and the Angel God, a group of experts felt a lingering fear. They weren't afraid of facing the totems head-on, but if the 3 totems really succeeded and launched a self-destruction sneak attack, even they would find it very troublesome. Moreover, the Alliance Island would definitely suffer huge losses. Shi Yu in front of him. Everyone was shocked. It was actually so ridiculously strong. Not only was its perception shocking, but it also killed totems like chickens. The 3 totems just now even used an explosive skill before self-destructing. The surrounding energy fluctuations approached the peak of a top-notch totem. Such surging energy would explode any beast tamer below the legendary and demigod level, but such a terrifying power fluctuation was instantly suppressed and obliterated by the sword formation. Looking at Shi Yu, who had retracted his sword spirit, they simply looked at him as if they were looking at a monster. Danger perception. Shi Yu looked at legendary Wexy and said, the other party's killing intent is very strong. But they carry hidden divine level tools. It's indeed difficult to find. Legendary Wexy's expression turned cold. No matter what, I have to thank you this time. If it weren't for you, the Alliance Island would definitely have been heavily injured. Legendary Wexy said, you just said that it's in another hemisphere. Do you know its location? Do you have any other information? This guy is arrogant enough to attack the Alliance. We have to make it pay a heavy price. I killed the soul of the other party's totem and saw some memories. Yunan's main body isn't nearby, but very far away. It's probably already very difficult to find the other party now, Shi Yu said. No matter what, I hope that Legend Shi Yu can provide the coordinates of Yunan that you know, Legendary Wexy said. I didn't protect it well this time. I'll seek justice for Sir Shi Yu. This Yunan deserves to die. The titled legends of the various countries expressed their views. No matter what, Yunan had indeed threatened their life interests this time. Regarding this cosmic monster that came from outer space and forced Emperor Dong Huang to death, they also wanted to get rid of it very much now. At the same time, they also wanted to capture and study it. From the looks of it, this Yunan contained a big secret. It was a very good way to understand outer space. They couldn't be absent from the battle to hunt Yunan. Legend Shi Yu, we need its information, President Logan and the others said. Even the Angel God of Glory felt that they should capture this creature of the Abyss race alive and see what mission it had to descend to Blue Planet 10,000 years ago. Sure. Seeing this, Shi Yu naturally had no problem saying. However, he didn't think that the other party could successfully find Yunan. If the current Yunan still stayed on the spot, it would be really stupid. Thank you. In addition, according to what I know, Yunan has a bounty on you and issued a must-kill order, right? Next, I hope Sir Shi Yu can stay on Alliance Island. I'll give Sir Shi Yu the highest level of protection, Legendary Wexy said. Protect me? Shi Yu looked at Legendary Wexy and looked at him playfully. Really? If they could protect him, where would they have gone just now? Legendary Wexy choked. He wanted to keep Shiyu mainly because he wanted to use Shiyu as bait to attract Yunnan to Alliance Island, but when Shiyu said that, he was immediately speechless. From the battle performance just now, this Shiyu had completely exceeded the level of legend. Legends, including normal legends and titled legends. Even if it was him, if he could know in advance about the Yun clan's attack and whether he could do as well as Shiyu just now, legendary Wexy wasn't very confident. But no matter what, he couldn't let Yunnan continue. Firstly, Yunnan's power was very special. He could actually modify so many special totems. It was very attractive to legendary Wexy and Shenfeng, who were expert creatures. The second thing was that Yunnan actually dared to provoke him. Legendary Wexy's appearance at the Alliance meeting was also the will of the Shenfeng nation. As a new legendary and a legend who had the blessings of the World Tree, in theory, he was the most suitable existence to become the savior of Blue Planet recognized by the current World Tree. Shenfeng wanted to use legendary Wexy to fight for the right to speak in the Blue Planet Alliance. Although Shenfeng took a fancy to the outcome of this Alliance meeting, she didn't take a fancy to it that much. Most importantly, it was still Wexy legendary's identity and strength. However, Shenfeng never expected that not only would legendary Wexy be slapped in the face by the invading faction during the Alliance meeting, but he would also let Shiyu, the later blesser of the World Tree, show off. This was very disadvantageous to Shenfeng's vision of obtaining the dominance of the Alliance. If legendary Wexy wanted to regain his image as a leader, he had to deal with this attack appropriately. It was best if he personally captured or killed Yunnan. Ever since he advanced to the legendary level, he had never fought a demigod. Although the Yun clan attack this time was troublesome, legendary Wexy also realized that it was an opportunity. As long as he could kill this invading demigod, his reputation as a savior would be even more confirmed. However, from the looks of it, Shiyu didn't plan to cooperate with him. Legendary Wexy's eyelids twitched as he looked at the young man in front of him who made him feel threatened. Chapter 1153 Abyss Attack, 3 1153 Abyss Attack, 3 The Alliance Island will activate the highest protective facilities. At least, this place will be the safest next. If you kill Yunnan subordinates, its revenge will definitely not stop, but will be even fiercer, legendary Wexy said. There's no need to trouble legendary Wexy, Shiyu said. Yunnan wants to kill me, and I also want to kill Yunnan. Next, I'll take the initiative to attack and hunt Yunnan. What? Legendary Wexy was extremely stunned. The other countries were also extremely stunned. Shiyu actually said that he wanted to hunt demigods? The world already knew that Yunnan had once forced Emperor Dong Huang to death and hunted the Heavenly Sword half-god. It could be said that Yunnan was an extremely ferocious half-god. In addition, it was an invading race. It could be said to have a reputation like a demon god. Even the totem-level sacrificial soldiers he created were so threatening, and his main body was still so careful. He was simply Blue Planet's greatest worry at the moment. The power Shiyu displayed just now was indeed terrifying, but don't tell them that the current Shiyu already had the ability to kill demigods. Why was this guy so confident? After all, even legendary and demigod level battle power could only resist, defeat, and not kill demigods. It was too difficult to kill demigods, especially elemental demigods like Yunnan, who had clearly studied forbidden weapons of humans. There were very few divine forbidden weapons that could counter the other party. Even if they used divine forbidden weapons, they might not necessarily be able to easily defeat the other party. Even if legendary Wexy himself wanted to deal with Yunnan, he planned to use the power of forbidden weapons. Dong Huang won't let Yunnan off. At this moment, President Lin also walked out and said, "There's no need to trouble legendary Wexy. Finding Yunnan is very important. I don't think we should waste time here next. Then let's work hard together." Legendary Wexy's eyelids twitched again as he looked at President Lin. He had almost forgotten that behind Shiyu was also a superpower. Everyone's conversation ended here. Shiyu turned and left with President Lin. President Lin said, "What were you talking about just now? You want to take the initiative to find Yunnan?" President Lin admitted that Shiyu's battle power just now shocked him very much, but wasn't it still too difficult to take the initiative to find Yunnan? unless there was Divine Source Legendary and the Dragon God together. It was worth a try. Shiyu, President Lin, hurry up the investigation of the Donghuang border first to prevent Yunnan from flying into a rage out of humiliation and using Donghuang as an attack target. Although attacking Donghuang directly without any targeting is not beneficial to Yunnan at all, considering that its emotions might not necessarily be stable after this loss, you have to be careful. It's best to wake Senior Divine Source up from its sleep for a period of time. With its protection, Donghuang will be foolproof, Shiyu said. President Lin said, the methods of the Yun race this time are indeed extraordinary. They actually dodged the detection of the Alliance Island and hid from everyone present. If it really wants to take revenge and can use similar methods, the 7 countries probably can't afford such a battle of attrition. No country could maintain the highest level of defense at all times. The consumption of resources was too high. My problem, don't worry. My battle power is far more than that. Yunnan won't live long. Go and awaken the Divine Source Legendary and find the Dragon God. I'll see if I can use the 3 undead that contain Yunnan's power to track Yunnan's specific coordinates. If it succeeds, we have to counterattack immediately. At least, we can't let Yunnan fall into the hands of other countries. It has very high research value. It's an important channel for Donghuang to understand outer space. It has to take the lead, Shiyu said. In short, give me a week to take a look. I want to search Blue Planet carpet style and cooperate with Ling and Kai Tong to find Yunnan's traces. President Lin was stunned. Tell me, it's only been half a year. How much has your strength increased? Shiyu smiled. It won't be weaker than ordinary new legendaries. It might not be comparable to Emperor Wu at his peak, but with Susu and the Blue Sea ruins, Yunnan is no threat to me. Moreover, Shiyu looked at President Lin and said, I want to enter seclusion while my pets help search for Yunnan and try to break through to level 8. If I succeed, I think I can really have legendary battle power. Then, the 7 countries mobilized together. The alliance meeting ended and a global arrest warrant was issued for the Yun clan. This arrest warrant was not only for the beast tamers of the 7 countries, but also for some demigods of the totem country. After all, Yunnan was an invading race. Firstly, it was to warn the other totem countries not to take Yunnan in. Secondly, it hoped that the other party could clear its position and stand on the big side of Blue Planet to share information with the prototype Blue Planet Alliance. At this moment, Shiyu was also in seclusion and meditating in the Blue Sea ruins. Ling's clone began to circle Blue Planet and cooperate with technological methods to search for Yunnan as much as possible. In the end, not long after Shiyu cultivated, Ling sent news. A totem faction ignored the warnings of the 7 countries and reached a cooperation with Yunnan. However, this faction was not a native faction of Blue Planet. The power of the Abyss Sea reappeared. An ancient Abyss half-god revived and seemed to have formed a cooperative relationship with Yunnan. The 2 demigods joined forces and destroyed a small sea totem country together. Including humans and other lives, tens of millions of lives died overnight, and the world trembled. Chapter 1154 Breaking Through to Level 8 Beast Tamer. 1154 Breaking Through to Level 8 Beast Tamer. Wave Nation. On the Sea Totem Island. The level of human civilization inside was not high. There were only scattered hordes, even inferior to the Heavenly Sword Nation. However, there were still tens of millions of transcendent lives living on it, involving various races. Overnight, the Wave Nation was destroyed. Death aura enveloped the sky and shot into the stars, shocking the world. President Lin was furious. This was because the Wave Nation was the first batch of totem factions to respond to Donghuang and establish the Blue Planet Alliance. Their totem guardians, like the Endless Sea and the Ghost Sea, trusted the Blue Sea Sprite more. In the end, before they could enjoy the protection of the Blue Star Alliance, they encountered a huge crisis. Many countries rushed to the scene to take a look and discovered that the Wave Nation and the surrounding sea area had already turned into a plague death ground. The virus radiation made this place a forbidden zone for life. Shiyu was also searching for Yunnan's location all over the world. When he received the news, he came to the sky above the Wave Nation with Ling and the others and looked at the dead island in silence. The situation here was even more dangerous than the Undying Dark Phoenix's undead battlefield. If weak creatures came into contact with it, they would probably instantly become metamorphosis, so it was immediately set as a forbidden area by the Alliance. This remnant power was extremely similar to the sign of the appearance of the Abyss Sea. According to the speculation of the Alliance's astrologer master, according to the results of the field inspection, the destruction of the country this time was suspected to be the reappearance of the laws of the Abyss Sea's elder Gu half-god, who had reached a cooperation with Yunnan. Unfortunately, these two demigods appeared and disappeared quickly. After devouring the creatures of the Wave Nation, they left behind a sentence and immediately disappeared. Blue Planet Alliance, hand over Shiyu and the Blue Sea Sprite. Otherwise, this is only the beginning. This time, they weren't just here to target Shiyu. At the same time, a single action made the Blue Planet Alliance, which had just formed, even more dangerous. Now, many small totem countries were in danger. Like the Wave Nation, many small totem factions that responded to the 7 human countries to establish the Blue Planet Alliance were extremely afraid. They suspected that Yunnan had failed in ambushing the Alliance Island and assassinating Shiyu. They didn't dare to directly attack the big countries. Next, they wanted to take revenge on the small factions that had joined the Alliance. This country-destroying action directly created a huge obstacle to the plan of the 7-nation alliance to establish the Blue Planet Alliance. After all, providing material and labor resources to the alliance in exchange for the support, protection, and opportunity for peaceful development was the original intention of the alliance. In the end, before it even started operating, a weak country was destroyed by an extraterrestrial faction, immediately pushing the Blue Planet Alliance to an awkward position. If the Blue Planet Alliance couldn't deal with Yunnan and the Abyss Sea in the short term, the establishment of the Blue Planet Alliance would probably completely fail. The rulers of the 7 countries instantly felt a headache, especially legendary Wexi, who wanted to compete for the position of president of the Blue Planet Alliance. He was so angry that he gritted his teeth. As for the request of the 2 Abyss demigods, it was naturally impossible for the alliance to agree. Without Shiyu, it would be gone. Without the Blue Sea Sprite, when the Abyss completely made a comeback, who would cleanse it? These 2 guys are courting death. In the sky above Wave Island, Shiyu's expression was unfriendly. It was fine if it directly attacked him, but it actually used this method to force him and Susu to submit. If this Yunnan didn't let it become a renewable resource for 100 million years, it would be difficult to relieve the hatred in Shiyu's heart. Nink, Nink. Of course, Susu was also angry, feeling very angry. Quack! Ducky was also in so much pain that it wanted to die. On the deck of the aerial battleship, Ducky hugged its head and howled. It realized that the Abyss inheritance had been beaten to it. The Abyss Sea inheritance was also passed down from the mythical era. It was left behind by the Abyss Evil God. Its characteristic was that it appeared randomly and was very difficult to completely destroy. Every time it revived, thousands of pollution sources would appear in various places in the ocean. The creatures who came into contact with the pollution sources had all received the inheritance of the Abyss. There were strong and weak sources of pollution. The strong ones could pollute totems. It could be said that the moment they appeared, they would dye the sea with blood. Among the demons who accepted the inheritance, the first to grow to a demigod was the new Abyss Sea leader. This leader could find the true inheritance land of the Abyss Sea and obtain the super-divine level resource, the Eye of the Evil God. The Abyss half-god with the Eye of the Evil God would be stronger and could control all pollution sources to expand his faction faster. Apart from that, the Eye of the Evil God had many magical uses. For example, transforming ordinary creatures into the Abyss race, or devouring other lives to transform their life force into a pollution source. The pollution source was also the core power of the Abyss race. It could be said that this was the key that the Abyss Sea could always be passed down. Even the Blue Sea Sprite couldn't cleanse the Evil God's eye. Every time the Abyss half-god died, the evil eye would disappear on its own and be born in a certain place. Ducky originally wanted to wait until it broke through to the totem level and became a demigod to take over the Eye of the Evil God. In the end, where did this so-called Elder Gu Abyss half-god come from? It was so angry. Nink. In short, Susu couldn't wait to kill these two guys related to the power of the Abyss immediately. If not for Shiyu stopping it, it would have already gone. We can't be rash. The other party still dares to be so arrogant even though he's wanted by the entire blue planet. He must have something to rely on, Ling said. It's not good news at all for Yunnan and the unknown Abyss Sea demigod to join forces. The Eye of the Evil God is an inheritance left behind by the Abyss Evil God in the mythical era. The Abyss Sea demigods are native Abyss creatures that have accepted the Abyss inheritance, while Yunnan is an extraterrestrial Abyss creature from outer space that's of the same race as the Abyss Evil God. They ignored the risk of stimulating the Blue Planet Alliance even more and started to devour creatures wantonly. They must be plotting some greater ambition. Chapter 1155 Breaking Through to Level 8 Beast Tamer, 2. 1155 Breaking Through to Level 8 Beast Tamer, 2. I suspect that the combination of the two of them will make both parties even more difficult to deal with. Yunnan in this space-time was even harder to find than the one in the previous space-time. Ling suspected that not only did the other party have special resources to hide himself, but it was also possible that after joining forces with the Abyss Sea demigod, with the other party's help, he could meld into the deep-sea alternate space. Regarding that place, its investigation strength was definitely inferior to the alternate space in the outside world. Nink. Susu was extremely aggrieved, making the duck beside it not know how to comfort it. Quack! Abyss Big Eye, your king is here. Ducky was still angry. I know that even if we find them now, we're no match for them. There are two demigods, and one is an Abyss demigod holding the Eye of the Evil God. He's not necessarily weaker than Yunnan, Shiyu said. Just now, President Lin also called to persuade him not to be rash. Susu, believe me, in a few days, we'll launch a counterattack. We won't let them continue to cause trouble. I'll definitely do what I promised you during the contract. Nink. Shiyu could sense Susu's anxious mood to crush the Abyss Sea demigod and Yunnan. If it didn't have this mood, it wouldn't be in Blue Sea Sprite. However, the situation was indeed a little different now. Unless more than twice the number of Legendaries joined forces, the two demigods were confident of stopping them. Just like how Shiyu and Emperor Wu were confident of stopping Yunnan when they joined forces. Unfortunately, according to what he understood from President Lin, apart from Dong Huang and Shen Feng, the other factions temporarily didn't have very strong thoughts about facing the Yun race and the Abyss. Shen Feng had taken a fancy to the status value and research value brought by the hunting invading faction. Dong Huang was about the same. As for the other 5 countries, it was very rare for them to have the ability to turn battle results into benefits. The risk was greater than the benefits. The mythical era was about to revive. Legendary and demigods were the existences with the greatest hope of breaking through to the mythical stage. At this critical moment, taking a huge risk to have a demigod battle, only the 2 largest countries, Shen Feng and Dong Huang, had this confidence. As for the other factions, it was precisely because they knew that humans still had the confidence to resist demigods that most of them were watching the commotion according to President Lin. They wanted to see if the human alliance had the ability to deal with the invaders and use this to consume the power of humans. They had no real intention of helping. Even the Endless Sea and the Ghost Sea, the 2 demigods who were the first to respond to the Blue Sea Sprite, had no intention of directly attacking. They only provided some help. Most factions were at most watching with support, worried that they would attract the fire, including Shen Feng. They suddenly had the intention to see Dong Huang and the invaders both suffer. After all, there was another demigod. The situation was completely different. When the 2 demigods joined forces, Shen Feng immediately became afraid again. He was worried that if he hunted them, the sacrifice would be too great, and the losses and benefits would not be proportional. He was also worried that when there were losses, Dong Huang would take the opportunity to rise. On the contrary, if Dong Huang went up himself, Dong Huang would definitely suffer a huge blow. This was an excellent opportunity to overtake. Now that the public opinion of the entire Blue Planet Alliance was pressing on Dong Huang, Dong Huang had no choice but to attack. As long as Dong Huang didn't work hard, it would lose the right to speak in the alliance to a certain extent. The Blue Star Alliance seemed to be huge, but once they really encountered something, their hearts immediately scattered. Just one more demigod enemy immediately made the various factions on Blue Planet lose their unity. Shiyu was actually not surprised by this. After all, according to the surviving gods, even in the mythical era, Blue Planet creatures had never been united. There were people who left Blue Planet, those who surrendered, and those who resisted. If it weren't for the fact that Blue Planet had enough powerful divine-level battle power, if it weren't for the fact that the three invading factions weren't united and had conflicts with each other, this battle would have been completely difficult. At this moment, although he was facing the provocation of Yunnan and the Abyss half-god, Shiyu still endured it and continued cultivating. After searching around, he didn't find any traces of Yunnan and the others. He confirmed that they had hidden deeper. However, Shiyu made an unexpected discovery on an isolated island. He discovered a mythical ruins that resonated with the spatial key he had obtained from the Time Emperor ruins that could open the ruins. This made Shiyu understand that the key to the ruins left behind by Emperor Shi could only open this mythical ruins. The mystery of Emperor Shi's disappearance might be here. Unfortunately, at this moment, he didn't have the extra energy to explore this ruin. He was still not strong enough. Shiyu originally thought that he already had pretty good strength to be able to fight Emperor Wu 40-60, but now, he understood that it was still not enough. After all, even Emperor Wu couldn't protect only Dong Huang under the threat of Yunnan alone. Instead of believing that an intelligent civilization can completely unite to fight the enemy, it's better to pursue extreme personal strength. Shiyu went into seclusion to cultivate again. It wasn't completely personal strength. At least contracted pets like 11, Buggy, Baby Ginseng, Susu, Kai Tong, and Ling could be completely relied on. As expected, beast tamers should just follow their pets. Ha 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 ha, this power. Not bad, not bad. In the deep-sea alternate space, the metal elemental life form that looked like a camel, Yunnan, was devouring a large number of pollution sources under the gaze of an abyss water elemental life form that looked like a sea frog. Sensing the power that was quickly becoming stronger, Yunnan's heart burned. Chapter 1156 Breaking Through to Level 8 Beast Tamer, 3. 1156 Breaking Through to Level 8 Beast Tamer, 3. After failing to assassinate Shiyu and being wanted worldwide, Yunnan originally planned to leave Blue Planet for a period of time. Who knew that this guy who called himself an ancient abyss demigod would suddenly find it? The Abyss Demon Frog, an ancient abyss demigod and the ruler of the Abyss Sea a million years ago, wasn't destroyed by the Blue Sea Sprite either. Instead, it felt that it was gradually losing itself under the power of the Abyss. With the help of divine-level resources, it sealed itself. It wasn't in the historical records. It only woke up again when the laws revived, but it still couldn't perfectly control the power of the Abyss until it sensed Yunnan's existence. Just like humans, it thought that Yunnan was an advance guard sent by the Abyss race from outer space. It, who believed in the Abyss evil god, immediately found Yunnan and said that it wanted to join forces with Yunnan to wait for the arrival of the Abyss race army. As for it, before that, it had a way to make it and Yunnan stronger and not be afraid of any opponent. When Yunnan heard that, he immediately fell silent, because it wasn't the vanguard of any extraterrestrial faction at all. However, humans and most races seemed to think so. Since everyone thought so, Yunnan didn't want to explain anything. In any case, it couldn't be explained clearly. Its ambition to conquer Blue Planet was also true. Therefore, Yunnan followed the other party's words and wanted to see what the Abyss Demon Frog wanted to do. In the end, to Yunnan's surprise, the source of pollution created by the other party with the power of the evil eye was a strengthening resource close to a divine-level meteorite. Its strength pointed to the origin and could greatly increase its strength. Apart from that, it could also allow it, who was originally a natural metal life form, to evolve into a perfect ability to adapt to water. This way, Yunnan felt that perhaps he could cultivate 2, 3, or even more quasi-divine skills before the mythical revival, instead of just relying on one divine skill to advance to the divine level. As for the Abyss Demon Frog, it also obtained the source of Yunan's Yun clan. Yunan came from outer space and was an innate Abyss race. It could perfectly control the power of the Abyss. Meanwhile, it was a post-natural Abyss race, and its race wasn't perfect. It couldn't perfectly use the power of the Abyss, but with the power of the evil Iron Yunan, it might be able to transform itself into a perfect Abyss race and become stronger. The pollution source was temporarily useless to the Abyss Demon Frog. It was purely the unholy origin that polluted more lives. If it absorbed too much, although its strength would be stronger, it would lose its rationality. However, it was very nutritious for Yunan. As for the Yunan origin, it was helpful for the Abyss Demon Frog to master the power of the Abyss. The two parties hit it off. This was a mutually beneficial transaction. The transaction is smooth. The Abyss Demon Frog enjoyed the Yunan origin at the same time and said to Yunan, "If only I could completely eat this guy. If only I could snatch the eye of the evil god." The two of them looked at each other with ulterior motives, but they understood that cooperation was the best plan for them now. Next, we have to borrow the power of the evil eye to transform more pollution sources, the Abyss Demon Frog said. Moreover, kill the blue sea sprite. We definitely can't let it grow to the peak. The previous generations of Abyss leaders were all destroyed by the blue sea sprite. Its power is extremely resistant to the Abyss race. Without it, even those reincarnation gods aren't a big threat to us. On the contrary, as long as we pollute them and Blue Planet doesn't have any cleansing methods, our strength will roll like a snowball, getting bigger and bigger. This won't be easy, Yunan said. That Shi Yu definitely won't appear easily. He's already at the legend level and can already easily kill top-notch totems. There's not much time left for us. His growth speed is too fast. It was even faster than that Wu Dong. I know, so we have to bait it. The Abyss Demon Frog said, according to my investigation, he has a deep relationship with Dragon Palace City and even established some environmental protection department. It's extremely ridiculous. As long as we attack Dragon Palace City, he will definitely appear. Dragon Palace City is Dong Huang's ally, but there's only one demigod presiding over it. There are no other allies, and Dong Huang's mechanical legendary isn't good at sea battles. There are very few ocean-type forbidden arms in the various countries. Their power is far inferior to the ground, and it's not easy to throw them into Dragon Palace City. Therefore, Dong Huang will be very passive in this attack. At that time, if Dragon Palace City is polluted, the blue sea sprite will definitely appear. It's our best opportunity. In addition, it's not just them who can grow. Our cooperation can also make both of us stronger. Yunan said, Dragon Palace City. Yunan was furious. The dragon god of Dragon Palace City was also its sure kill target. The last time, the dragon god actually dared to say that it would definitely kill it the next time they met. What a joke! It was just a dragon. Your investigation is very comprehensive. You even know about forbidden arms, Yunan said. It's decided. With my understanding of humans, they won't unite to resist us soon. After we complete our evolution, we'll attack Dragon Palace City and completely solve the hidden danger of the blue sea sprite. In addition, you're also an elemental life form, right? I'll give you another small skill to reduce the damage of forbidden arms. Although it can't completely offset it, it can reduce the damage to an even lower level. Yunan laughed. Because it valued humans, it left behind a warning and valued the development of humans. Back in the era of Emperor Wu, humans that it had modified into meteorites had integrated into the world. This time, it was really lucky to have obtained a lot of knowledge about the mechanic class. This was all thanks to the crazy scientists under it. Chapter 1157 Breaking Through to Level 8 Beast Tamer, 4. 1157 Breaking Through to Level 8 Beast Tamer, 4. Stealing the crystal of human intelligence should be the most successful. In short, after they evolved again, 3 to 4 demigods wouldn't be able to hold them down. At that time, they would indeed not be afraid of any opponent. 3 days later. Yunnan and the Abyss Demon Frog appeared in a small totem country on the sea that responded to the Blue Planet Alliance again and devoured transcendent lives indiscriminately. The countries were already more wary of these two Abyss demigods, but unfortunately, they were really helpless in the short term against these two demigods. To hold them down, there had to be at least 4 demigods. It was extremely difficult to let the 4 demigods a legendary patrol the place where they attacked. The technological devices of the Seven Nation Alliance were the first to detect their appearance, but they were helpless. Just as Dong Huang's forbidden arms locked onto them and before they could fire, the 2 demigods disappeared without a trace and hid in the ocean. Ever since the power of humans' forbidden arms was known, there were indeed very few totems who fought head-on with forbidden arms like when mechanics were first developed. Damn guy! Many members of the Blue Planet Alliance were furious. The 8 legendaries of the Blue Planet Alliance had come out of seclusion and awakened, but they had never reached a unified opinion on killing the Abyssal Race demigod. The 8 legendaries of the Blue Planet Alliance had come out of seclusion and awakened, but they had never reached a unified opinion on killing the Abyssal Race demigod. Even if the Blue Sea Sprite reincarnation reached its peak, like the Minghua ghost god who had modified itself into an anomaly in order to extend its lifespan, Legendary Zed and the others were very unwilling to directly fight to the death. After all, in their state, even if they had cleansing methods, as long as they were polluted by the power of the Abyss, whether they could last until they were cleansed was another matter. The weak totem countries that responded to the Blue Planet Alliance also told the Blue Planet Alliance to quickly deal with the Abyss invaders. The demigods of the large totem factions were watching the commotion. Some gods who had awakened their memories and reached the demigod level and had the ability to fight were also watching the battle without any intention of attacking. The former was also worried about being polluted and used by the Human Alliance. She wanted to use this opportunity to weaken the power of humans. At that time, even if they established some Blue Star Alliance to resist external enemies, humans wouldn't be the only ones dominating. The gods of the latter were relatively calm. They wanted to see what abilities the savior of Blue Planet, who was given high hopes by the World Tree, had. In the eyes of the gods, what the 2 Abyss demigods were doing was still a small matter. The real Abyss race was even more ferocious. If humans couldn't even deal with them, even if the World Tree valued them and the Blue Planets will favored them, it would be very difficult for them to believe in the abilities of humans. From the perspective of a god, this was also a test for humans. If they couldn't pass at that time, they wouldn't listen to the request of the Blue Planet's will and treat humans equally. At this moment, the Seven Nation Alliance also wanted to awaken the World Tree, but the World Tree had no intention of waking up from its sleep. Everyone had their own considerations. At the moment, the only unified opinion of the Seven Nation Alliance was to use the stockpiles of forbidden arms of the various countries to fight the 2 demigods. After all, the one threatened was not the human faction itself, but the totem countries. Using forbidden arms was already the limit. Legendaries didn't want to do it themselves, but this wasn't a long-term plan. The 2 Abyss half-gods had to be resolved in the end. The pressure of public opinion came to Dong Huang again. The 2 Abyss half-gods named Shi Yu and the Blue Sea Sprite, and both belonged to Dong Huang. Now, even Dong Huang didn't want to risk its life. The various countries definitely wouldn't rush to solve Dong Huang's problem with all their might. If Dong Huang couldn't deal with the Abyss demigod, the ocean factions that responded to the Blue Sea Sprite would probably quickly withdraw. Originally, Shen Feng was the most anxious to kill Yunnan. Now that the Abyss Demon Frog has appeared, they're not in a hurry. President Lin had been under a lot of pressure these few days. Beside him, Divine Source Legendary, who looked like a small robot, said, "They're very sensitive to forbidden arms and very cautious. In the current situation, even if the Dragon God and I join forces, we probably won't be able to deal with them. We'll only cause Dong Huang's vitality to be greatly injured. The various countries should be very happy to see us and them both suffer. And we can't really risk our lives to make Dong Huang fall into a weakened state because of this. Is the Blue Planet Alliance plan going to fail? It's just the threat of 2 demigods." Divine Source Legendary was annoyed. If only Lin Feng was still around. Although this bastard didn't suit his taste, he was the person Divine Source thought was the most suitable to replace him in charge of Dong Huang. In the end, he disappeared directly. If Lin Feng was still around, the pressure on the dragon god, him, Lin Feng, and Shi Yu to resist these two demigods would be much smaller. As long as they succeeded and didn't suffer much losses, it would be as Shen Feng had expected. At that time, Dong Huang would occupy the highest position in the Blue Star Alliance and have the greatest right to speak, becoming an existence close to the Alliance Master. Unfortunately. What's the situation on Shi Yu's side? Divine Source Legendary asked. He's still in seclusion. Alright, as long as he's not rash. I heard that the Blue Sea Sprite has a very stubborn temper. I'm just afraid that they'll be rash, Divine Source Legendary said. The Blue Star Alliance could be abandoned, and the Totem Allies could be abandoned, but nothing could happen to Shi Yu. Alliances and allies were just tied together by benefits. It was far inferior to a super genius growing up being more important to Dong Huang. Chapter 1158 Breaking Through to Level 8 Beast Tamer, 5. 1158 Breaking Through to Level 8 Beast Tamer, 5. As long as he endured until the Blue Sea Sprite grew to the peak and became the strongest demigod, these two abyss demigods could be dealt with. After thinking about it, as long as Dong Huang's homeland wasn't threatened, this was the best method Dong Huang could choose. In the Blue Sea ruins, Shi Yu was cultivating and did not stop receiving information from the outside world. President Lin, Divine Source Legendary, and the other suggestion was to tolerate it for a while. In a year or two, when Shi Yu grew to the legendary level, the Blue Sea Sprite would completely receive the inheritance of the Blue Sea ruins and grow to a peak demigod before dealing with the opponent. However, Shi Yu felt that it didn't have to be so long. He couldn't afford to wait that long. After all, Susu had always been in a low mood. Shi Yu didn't want Susu to be unhappy forever. These 2 days of meditation might have been affected by many aspects, such as the revival of laws, the evolution of Little G and the Duck God. Shi Yu's cultivation efficiency was extremely high. Finally, 7 months after he broke through to the legend level, the level of his beast-taming space completely loosened. Buzz! In the Blue Sea ruins, Shi Yu and the other pets who were comprehending the power of the natural order looked up one after another and sensed the change in the beast-taming space. A red spatial crystal wall suddenly appeared in Shi Yu's huge first beast-taming space before quickly disappearing. Testing, Ling quickly flew up. Woo! Woo! Yi! The 3 brothers were overjoyed. Mi! Nink! The plastic sisters immediately felt that their bottleneck had loosened a little, not being suppressed by the beast-taming space. Who? In the Blue Sea ruins, spatial ripples rippled. Shi Yu opened his eyes, and a red light similar to a spatial crystal wall flashed in his eyes. Level 8. The moment Shi Yu broke through to level 8, many new changes occurred in the skill index. Unfortunately, it wasn't a big update like the fusion of teaching methods and skills. It was just that because of his breakthrough, his physique was strengthened again, and the risk of teaching quasi-divine skills was all reduced. The success rate of fusing some skills was also higher. The difficulty of adding points to super skills also decreased. This power, Shi Yu couldn't be bothered to experience the physical strength and mental strength that could kill an overlord with this punch. He only quickly looked at Ling. Ling, is the analysis completed? It's completed. With the strength of your current number 1 beast-taming space and physique, you can support contracting a demigod and a non-demigod totem. For ordinary level 7 and level 8 beast-tamers, unless their beast-taming talent was special, it was difficult to contract an ordinary totem-level creature. Even if they had special talent and could contract it, with the situation of their beast-taming space, they could only contract 1 totem at most. It was very difficult to bear a second pet. As this totem became stronger and stronger, and the demand for growth components became higher and higher, the pressure on beast-tamers would also be greater. However, this situation was completely broken by Shi Yu. because he had reached the physical limit at every level. In addition to eating 3 divine-level resources to strengthen himself and the super-strengthening blessing of the World Tree, he had also obtained the feedback of many powerful pets, including the Son of the Stars and the Time Sprite. He was long inhuman. He had just broken through to level 8. According to Ling's detection, his current state could actually contract a demigod and a totem. What did this mean? In other words, Shiyu wouldn't feel any pressure if 11, Baby Ginseng, Kai Tong, Ling, Little G, Ducky, and Chi, these mythical races, immediately broke through to the totem level. As long as they broke through to the totem level, they would have demigod-level battle power, which was the so-called demigod life form. Apart from that, life forms like Buggy and Suso, who had yet to master quasi-divine skills, had a lower burden on beast tamers because they weren't suppressed by the world laws after breaking through to the totem level, which was the non-demigod totem life form Ling mentioned. However, in fact, they looked like normal totems that might be divine skills, but because of the enhancement of the power of faith, after breaking through, they were definitely not much different from demigods. Therefore, in other words, Shiyu could completely choose 2 pets to let them break through to the totem level. And this was only because he had just broken through. Shiyu felt that when he trained his physique to the peak of level 8 and his second beast taming space broke through to level 8, his body control talent would also advance. He felt that perhaps he could slowly let all his pets reach the totem level without waiting to break through to level 9. When he reached level 9, he might be able to become a whole team of demigods. At this moment, Shiyu clenched his fists and looked at 11 and the others. I plan to give 11 and Susu 2 breakthrough opportunities. What do you think? Wu, Yi, Mir Buggy, Baby Ginseng, Kai Tong, and the others looked at each other. Although they felt that it was a pity, it was nothing. This was the best choice. They had all expected it. Next, if nothing went wrong, they would have to fight Yunnan and the Abyss Demon Frog. 11's Yin-Yang Millstone countered 99% of quasi-divine skills, including the power of the Abyss and the power of the Yun race. Susu's cleansing power was the power that countered the power of the Abyss the most in the team. If they became stronger, the subsequent battles could also be easier. Woo! Panda King 11 had waited for this day for God knows how long. It was as excited as a multiplied panda, indicating to Shiyu and Susu that after breaking through, no matter what opponent it was, it could leave it to it. After it became a demigod, it would definitely be able to suppress all enemies. Nink, nink. When Susu heard that it had a share in breaking through, it was immediately excited to the extreme. The slime's body jumped. Although its blue sea contract and sea cleansing spirit were only transcendent after breaking through and couldn't immediately reach the level of a quasi-divine skill, they could also have an extraordinary increase compared to the current perfect extreme. At that time, with Infinite Devour, creating a demigod-level sea cleansing spirit in the ocean would probably take less than a day. It was not very different from reaching the demigod level. The totem level was already extremely close to its peak. Then prepare to break through, Shiyu called 11 and Susu. Their super race skills were all perfect plus 47, and were long on the verge of breaking through. Just a little more. Just as Shiyu and the others were preparing to break through and were about to enter the peak battle power of Blue Planet, Yunnan and the Abyss Demon Frog appeared again. The 7 countries captured them relatively quickly this time. As the terrifying explosion that contained various powers rose, the entire Blue Planet shook, shocking the totems and demigods. The world was silent. This time, the 7 countries quickly and accurately locked onto the Abyss Demigod. The forbidden arms of the 7-nation alliance were fired and hit so quickly. What was the outcome? Countless top-notch experts paid attention to the location of the forbidden explosion. This time, Dong Huang provided a divine forbidden type arms, Shenfeng provided a divine forbidden type arms, and the other countries provided a top-notch forbidden type arms. A total of 7 forbidden type arms formed a series of explosions, shocking the world. However, when the forbidden wave dissipated, the scene shocked everyone. Damn it, they're fishing. They're trying to see if they can resist the divine forbidden arms, and they succeeded. Back then, the divine forbidden arms that successfully killed demigods in the last totem battle didn't successfully kill 2 demigods this time. They were still alive and appeared from the depths of the ocean again. Moreover, their forms had changed drastically. It was unimaginable. Yunnan and the Abyss Demon Frog completed their evolution again on the basis of a nearly perfect demigod-level divine-level race, successfully blocking a round of forbidden attacks from the Seven-Nation Alliance. They were originally considered strong among demigods, far from what demigods killed by humans with forbidden arms could compare to. And now, they were clearly stronger. For the first time, the final killing move of the mechanic class failed. Many mechanics of the 7 countries' faces were pale. They couldn't accept this outcome. Even divine forbidden-type forbidden arms weren't working, so what else could kill them? The various totem countries were also very silent. The forbidden arms couldn't kill them? Now, let's see what the legendaries of the 7 countries did. Chapter 1159 Demigod Bear, Cat Lady. 1159 Demigod Bear, Cat Lady. Blue Sea Ruins. Before preparing to add points and give 11 and Susu the final breakthrough, Shiyu had a big meal. After stepping into level 8, Shiyu's greatest feeling was hunger. The consumption of a powerful life level was too huge. If there was consumption, it had to be replenished. It just had to eat. However, extravagant was really extravagant. Under normal circumstances, if Shiyu's team wanted to be rich, they could eat up a small totem country and a first-level city in Donghuang in less than a year. A group of pigs. If not for the ginseng baby, Shiyu really didn't know what to do. Baby Ginseng was the chef of the team. As the sun of the world ginseng, it could freeload on natural energy to the greatest extent and create food. Of course, that alone wasn't enough. Shiyu and the others had tried it before. If they ate a few better meals, they would have to eat an island filled with natural energy into a deserted island. It could be said that if baby ginseng grew vegetables in Pingcheng, it wouldn't be long before the entire ice-field city would become a desolate place. When their levels were low, for the sake of efficiency, Shiyu and the others farmed in the ruins' mystic realm and used energy crystals to replace natural energy to accelerate production. After its level was high, be it ruins or energy crystals, they were no longer useful. As time passed, it was not a problem to eat a ruin and eat Donghuang's inventory. Fortunately, at this moment, Susu awakened the Blue Sea Contract. The Blue Sea Contract could mobilize the energy of the sea without limit. Baby Ginseng and Susu combined and developed a food group that mainly relied on the energy of the sea to grow. Only then did the food crisis in the team ease. Baby Ginseng and Susu only needed to pay a large amount of time cost to eat their fill. Otherwise, if it weren't for Susu, Shiyu and the others would probably have to plunder territory if they wanted to eat their fill. This way, the time cost of searching for a place was a small matter. It was mainly because the areas with the most natural energy were all totem factions. It wasn't good for Shiyu to go over to freeload. It was easy to trigger a totem battle. In history, many totem battles were opened by the totems in order to fill their stomachs, in order to get resources, and for their territories. If Shiyu's configuration didn't have the combination of Susu and Baby Ginseng, it would really be the fuse to start the totem battle. Of course, the price was that Susu and Baby Ginseng had suffered a little and had to do more work. Apart from that, it was also a pity that everyone was vegetarian. This was also why Shiyu was so excited to see some black ram and black yak. Meat, meat! Totem level meat. I'm full. After eating, Shiyu looked at 11 and the others. 11, Buggy, and the others surrounded him and were predicting the energy value after breaking through. Baby Ginseng, on the other hand, continued to move food. Shiyu would be hungry after breaking through, and 11 would definitely be even hungrier after breaking through. As for Susu, it didn't care. As an elemental life form, Susu could directly use the Blue Sea Contract to absorb the growth and nutrition in the ocean. But on 11's side, no matter what, as an animal life form, it was difficult to have a nutritional recipe. Eating lightning and metal alone was not 11's most perfect recipe. It had to be matched reasonably according to Ling's menu. Baby Ginseng wiped its sweat. On the other side, when they heard Shiyu say that he was full, 11 and Susu immediately came over with shining eyes. Woo! Nink! Let me see. At this moment, Shiyu looked at 11 and Susu's normal energy levels again. Now, Ling had already researched that the highest level detection device on Blue Planet could already detect energy values that exceeded 100 million, with the highest limit being 5 billion. This meant that Ling's scientific research ability had already reached the top of Blue Planet. This was also normal. After all, it was a top-notch intelligence close to transcendent. In this mechanical domain where mechanical brains of Divine Source Legendary and Legendary Z didn't have transcendent top-notch intelligence, it was a god. As long as Ling was given enough time, materials, and technology, it wasn't impossible to study Divine Forbidden Arms. Because it had the World Tree Fruit Tree to increase its comprehension, Ling's research of messy things was not slow. It was born to study and tinker, so it had results in a bunch of technological products that didn't exist in the outside world. Perhaps it wasn't that the mechanical legendary couldn't develop this, but because the cost-effective ratio wasn't high, there was no need to study it. At their level, they could basically sense the difference in strength, and it was an all-round perception. It was just that pure energy detection was not within their consideration. Shiyu looked at the few overlords in the team. Raw. Little G looked at Shiyu. The normal energy value was about 130 million. Quack! Ducky looked at Little G calmly. Its normal energy level was about 140 million, and it had an inexplicable sense of superiority. Ever since it joined the team, its normal energy level had been suppressed by Little G. It finally turned around and became its master. Even these two guys had more than 100 million energy points, and the pets in Team 1 were stronger. Ling's normal energy level was about 240 million. Susu, about 230 million. Kai Tong, about 310 million. Baby Ginseng, about 350 million. Buggy, about 280 million. 11, about 370 million. The energy values of the various pets were basically extremely ridiculous. This was only the norm, and this was still because they were only at the overlord level. After all, they had countless explosive skills. Under normal circumstances, normal totems rarely had more than 500 million energy points. The top-notch totems of the strongest tier rarely had more than 1 billion normal energy. 11 and the others could be said to be quite ferocious. Chapter 1160 Demigod Bear, Cat Girl, 2. 1160 Demigod Bear, Cat Girl, 2. Of course, there were also weak mythical race overlords, such as Chi. Shiyu glanced at it. Energy points, 10.01 million. As expected of it. Chi, what? Her energy level was low, but it was a matter of race. Don't look. Cough, cough. At this moment, Shiyu was curious about the level of energy 11 and the others would reach after breaking through to the totem level. Next, in the Blue Sea Ruins, Shiyu first let Susu use the power of points and the inheritance of the Blue Sea Ruins to break through. Nink! Coupled with Ling's 9-colored Divine Light and Susu's own Sea Cleansing Spirit, needed to rely on mutated evolution and evolution skills. Of course, be it developing new skills or optimizing races to complete new evolution, it wasn't easy for totems. Some totems spent their lives, but didn't develop the abilities they wanted. Some totems consumed a huge amount of resources, but they didn't optimize the success of their race and complete the evolution of gods. Shiyu's skill index, a rare evolution skill, was still a shortcut to a certain extent. However, for Susu, after condensing its life source, it would welcome spring. Coupled with Infinite Devour, it might be able to try to evolve into a cosmic life form on its own. With its own directional cooperation, the success rate would be higher. This guy had yet to forget the Star Sea Sprite pancake Shiyu had drawn for it when it was young. The key was that it was really possible to eat this pancake. Nink! In the Blue Sea Ruins, under the quiet change, as Shiyu sensed the rapid increase in the water elemental content in the beast-taming space, he instantly knew that Susu had already completed its breakthrough. Shiyu looked at Susu, who was in the inheritance and had restrained its energy. Your control is not bad. It has improved greatly. Shiyu smiled. Its energy level had exceeded 1 billion. Nink. Susu jumped out of the Blue Sea Ruins inheritance pillar, almost writing the word invincible on its face. He smiled at Shiyu, Kai Tong, and the others. At the moment, Susu's 8 super skills were all transcendent. Ordinary totems with 2 transcendent skills were already entry-level top-notch totem battle power. This? Obviously, the strength had already exceeded the standard. Normal energy points, 1,230 million. 1.2 billion. Shiyu was excited. For Susu, although it had unlimited energy, the normal foundation was also very important. After all, the more basic energy its body could accommodate, the more ocean energy it could summon in one go through the Blue Sea contract. If the previous Blue Sea contract was a thin water pipe, then now it was a water cannon. This would greatly increase the efficiency of creating the sea cleansing spirit. Previously, at the monarch level, it might have needed a long time to create a sea cleansing spirit that could cleanse top-notch totems. But now, with a casual attack, it was the sea cleansing spirit that could cleanse top-notch totems like the Black Meteorite Yak and the Black Space Divine Dragon. It could be used infinitely. It was precisely because of such a ferocious accompanying move that no matter how strong or huge the Abyss Sea faction was, they couldn't withstand the attack purification of the Blue Sea Sprite. Ning tilde tilde after breaking through, Susu indeed instantly felt extremely hungry. It immediately swallowed the ocean energy through the Blue Sea contract and Infinite Devour. During the eating process, vast energy fluctuations that were like the sea lingered around it, making Buggy, Baby Ginseng, Kai Tong, and the others watch eagerly. This power definitely exceeded any life form below the demigod level they had seen. Even the 9 totem battle pets of Emperor Wu were like the difference between a small star and a bright moon compared to Susu in front of them. Although the current Susu's 2 exclusive skills, the Blue Sea Contract and the Sea Cleansing Spirit, had yet to reach the peak of Transcendent and reach the stage of quasi-divine skills, as long as it accumulated enough Sea Cleansing Spirit, it could still be said that it had demigod-level battle power now. Quack! Ducky rubbed its hands. As expected of a big sister. Trash Abyss Toad, you didn't expect this, right? Although you snatched the eye of the evil god before me, I'll rely on the Blue Sea Sprite. Woo woo woo. 11 told Ducky to calm down. There was no hurry, no hurry. It wanted to break through too. Come, come, come. Shiyu called 11. A moment later. 11, who was like the Chaos Thunder God, stood in the Blue Sea Ruins. In its terrifying physique, surging energy was crazily tempering its entire body and completing the sublimation of life. As Shiyu added the last points, 11 also completed the extreme breakthrough. Shiyu could sense the explosive energy in its body.